Gaze rush to get on out there. Oh, flashes it, goes for the touch, Riot Gaze, and gets 2 people down. He's going for the 1v3, looking for one more. Let's see if he can do it. Let's to see if he can get another kill for himself. There it is. He's looking for it. He gets the poison. He gets it. He's unstoppable. 1 more to go. But gets interrupted by the Talon there. So now it's going to be a 3v4 down here as Jin has been able to take it down. But here comes. Oh, he stole that Inferno Drink! Boom! Able to take that one for himself. But at the cost of his Ragnarok's going to be coming out. And here comes the Roots to. Oh, the Stun Daddy is back! And he gets a 4-man crescendo. And tight game. We are looking to turn this one around. It was a 4v5. A triple. But here it comes. Oh, Stun Daddy maybe in a little bit of trouble, gonna get taunted up, and P-Kai looking to see if they can take advantage of this fight right now. 4v5, not looking good for Ty Gaming at all. Double kill right now, going out for Kai, so looking for a triple, looking to see if she's gonna be able to get one more. No, not gonna get taken down just yet, but he will eventually. Perfect read from Boomba Blood. That is going to be Snowflake maybe taken down here. He's going to be looking for the assault battery play. Oh, so far, Boomba going to be able to get 1. They're going to be able to get 2. They're going to be able to get 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it. This is week number 8 of Late Night League season number 2. My name is JC Yeso McDonough. I am joined by my good friends Jordan Switch Estrada as well as Shane Seal Erickson over on my left to bring you all of the action tonight as we have your grand final coming your way very soon here. We will finish up with the central finals here in just a moment between Asian Imports and Boomba. We will update you on the status there in just a moment as we're getting prepared for Champion Select. But gentlemen, as we prepare to close out season 2 here, we've seen a lot of great action. Anything you are looking forward to as we look to close out the season?
Just the best finals that I can hopefully see. I mean, this is my second week here at Esports Arena. It was already explosive in the first week that I casted, so this second week, I just hope it's as explosive as it gets, I guess.
Yeah, I'd imagine that both these teams are going to be bringing everything they got today. This is where everything's on the line. It's that grand finals time. I'm hoping we're going to see some interesting strats, maybe some interesting picks come in, but I know these teams are going to be giving everything they've got today.
We're definitely bringing everything to the table here with the full-on TriCast for you folks. So we will have all of the analysis you could ask for the broadcast tonight, and we imagine the teams will bring the same to the Rift here. We already have the representatives from the Western region decided. We will have Fruitling and the E-Boys representing the West in the grand final, but we are yet to determine who will represent the Central region. Now, they have finished up almost completely their bracket. We saw Boomba battling with Golden Hurricane in their best-of-1 final to see who would face off against Asian Imports for the chance to face off against Fruitling and the E-Boys. And we are 2 games into this best-of-3. It's a 1-1 series with Boomba fighting back after getting really honestly dumpstered in game 1. The Yi went off for Bear King, but they have responded in convincing fashion here in game 2, and now we go to a deciding game 3 with a possible loser's bracket reset if Boomba can win it. So a lot at stake in this final game.
Yeah, definitely. This is where everything's on the line for them. This is the third game of the best-of-3. Both these teams have already just taken 1 game off of each other, and they're going to be looking to kind of seal the deal and secure their spot in the finals, so you know that they're going to be bringing everything they got.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even touch on what they're playing for, right? This is the prize pool of Esports Arena, and I think we talked about it before, but $500 just flat up, so that will be distributed to each of the members, so pretty much 100 each. But as well as that, you do get the classic, you know, Triumphant Rise.
Yep.
Around 3K RP in your pocket, so that's going to feel pretty nice.
Definitely a ton on the line, along with bragging rights to end the season. So these teams playing for a lot here today, and it's been a long season. We've seen so many games, and I want to talk about, before we get into this last game of this best of 3, some of the standout players we've seen, and we will get to see possibly a few of them here tonight. We'll definitely see Chad Jungle, who I think has been the most standout in that position throughout the season, as well as we could possibly see Morshoes, mid laner for Asian Imports, who is probably my front runner for MVP. I mean, I think he has been one of the most consistent performers, as well as a huge carry for his team. It really seems like Asian Imports works around them, as well as a lot of other great players. But Shane, anybody that really stands out to you in particular?
I mean, I know he's not going to be playing today, but Korean Banana is one player that I wanted to give props to for the entire tournament. He popped off nearly every game he was given the Irelia, and just really showed why you needed to ban that champion against him. I
mean, he really had some of the best single-game performances that we had all season, so definitely an impressive top laner. Anybody for you, Switch?
Forgive me if I get the name wrong, but I think a Soaring Eagle.
Yes, that's his name, yeah.
Mid lane popped off when I casted him last week, so, I mean, I don't get to see more of him, but it was fantastic to watch, and XD was going nuts next to me, by the way.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He definitely can get hype, and it's always certainly entertaining when he does so. And the best part is that these teams in Late Night League have given us so many reasons to get hype. The highlight reels have been extremely fun to watch. We've had Baron steals, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, we were watching just in the second game of this Boomba and Asian Import series, and Morshoes gets a huge, sadly we didn't have it on stream for you folks, but a huge Elder Dragon steal to stall out the game. So there's so much big play potential, and I love that. I think one of the things that we've seen throughout the season of Late Night League is there's really been no fear from a lot of these players. Everybody has been willing to put it all on the line, go out and try to make the risky but huge play to swing a game, to change a series. So I think that has produced a very aggressive and fast play style from a lot of teams, which I think fits the meta that we're playing in right now. And it's also just made for so many entertaining and iconic games.
Yeah, and I'll actually just say, too, that's so fitting for Esports Arena, right? You come in with 4 of your buddies, you just come to play League, and, like, if you do get to carry the game, that's the glory, like your friends cheering right next to you, like it makes so much sense why we're seeing such fast-paced gameplay, because I guess, everyone's feeling the energy being next to each other, playing against another 5-man, close by, and it's just exciting to see,
Yeah, absolutely. The energy of just playing in a tournament with your buddies, like you said, it gives you so much like hype just so you can go make these plays, and normally you might not even go for if you're just playing in solo queue or whatever. But during this is when these players go for the big plays where they can just straight up win games like that. Baron steals, Dragon steals, all those plays.
It's something that's talked about a lot when you go to the LCS or when you just talk about professional play in general, is the stage jitters, right? That adjustment to playing live in front of an audience, playing on a bigger stage, more at stake. And the interesting is that they don't necessarily play in front of a live audience. They're getting streamed. But it seemed like there has really been no nerves from a lot of these players. They have adjusted really well to moving into a different environment. You're not at home in the comfort of your own space. You're not sitting at your own setup. So there's that adjustment, but it's really seemed like all of the players have embraced that so well, have enjoyed, as you mentioned, being able to sit down next to all of their buddies. You're, right there on the front lines with them on the Rift, and you're right next to each other on the front lines as well. So it's been really cool to see everybody kind of go all in on this tournament, have really just laid everything out on the Rift, and it has made, definitely a phenomenal casting experience for us. I hope everybody's enjoyed watching it at home. I certainly enjoy, even when I'm not on the desk, going back to watch, like you mentioned, XT getting super hype about some crazy plays, some Baron steals and all this stuff. So it's definitely made for, in my opinion, a great experience across the board.
Yeah, now 8 weeks into it, we're finally getting down to the last one. I'd imagine the most hype moments are going to be tonight, right?
I couldn't agree more, and I think we've got the players and the teams to bring that to the table, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. I mean, Asian Imports, they've been looking real strong. One could say, especially I believe that mid lane, Morshoes that you talked about, the Anivia. So I'm looking forward to see the final pick and ban that we will see for Game 3. This is to get into the finals, like we talked about.
Yep. Asian Imports versus Boomba. Asian Imports took game number 1 in very convincing fashion. Kills were 27-3 in favor of Asian Imports. Bear King was extremely fed on the Yi and Morshoes, had another great performance on the Anivia, which we see is banned away here. Boomba heavily focusing his pool early, but Boomba responded. A couple of tanks in the top side of the map. They took the Ornn as well as the Rammus for Boomba Bear there, dominated there and got Boomba bombed, really fed on the Jinx and pushed it through. Now, Asian Imports didn't go away. They stalled out that game very long, but Boomba able to push it to a deciding third game.
That's right, and it was mostly due to the team fighting. They had some explosive picks coming in. I believe the Blitzcrank doing a lot of work, and there you go.
Banned away. They actually banned away the entire bottom lane there for Boomba. That was a huge part of that victory.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jinx as well. When you get a hook with the Blitzcrank, of course, getting excited is exactly what you want to see. And on the side of, I believe, Boomba took out the Anivia from the side of Morshoes, so not going to see that. But would you look at that? It's first pick Tristana of all picks.
Yeah, first pick Tristana, getting that 80 carry priority after getting the Jinx taken away from the other side. But I really like the bans coming out from Boomba, respecting the power of the Anivia and the Zoe in the hands of Morshoes. He's shown so much prowess on these champions during the course of Late Night League. I think it's really smart to take away those champions heading into it.
And the hard part, though, for Morshoes is he's really shown throughout the season that he has a champion Ocean. I mean, you can focus ban this guy as much as you want. He's not like Korean Banana, who has seemed to suffer on some of the tank picks, and the further he's gotten away from the playstyle of the Aurelia. Meanwhile, Morshoes continues to show us things he can perform on. Even last game in the loss on the Lux, got the huge Elder Drake steal, continued to keep his team in the game and be a huge threat. But we will see a repeat Ornn here from Stumpy. Was very, very big, for Boomba in the team fights, as well as another Lissandra for Boomba time. So Boomba really trying to see if they captured lightning in a bottle last game, see if they can run it back here in game number 3 as the Vladimir there comes out for Morshoes, most likely. Could be flexed up to Wacky Strawberry, but with the Maokai locked in, most likely for the mid laner.
Yeah, Morshoes on that Vladimir, that's the kind of style of carry pick that I really want to see him on. He's performed so well on stuff like the Nivea, the Orianna, the Lux, and now we get to see him kind of on that more frontline mage, the battle mage who has to be right there in the middle of the action, and I think he'll be able to handle all the pressure.
Yeah, I will say it might be a little tough trying to tie down that Tristana. She can queue up her rocket jump during any CC, so might be able to get out of sticky situations. But either way, I had to set the context for actually the picks coming in for Boomba. The Lissandra and the Ornn, I believe we saw them last game.
Yep.
So, and coming off of a successful game, I guess they just want to keep the same parts, not changing too many of the gears, so to speak. But explosive team fight coming in for them. They have a lot of control, and they can set the pace for the team fight as well to make sure that Tristana can get ramped up.
One thing we do have to note here, Boomba getting, I think, just a single important ban to the bottom there in the bottom lane in the second phase, banning away Kenazito's Sivir. That has been a comfort pick for Kenazito throughout the season, as the bottom lane has really been kind of a weakness for Asian Imports. It's been a place on the map for teams to exploit, while the top side of the map has really kind of been the rock from Morshoes all the way up to Wacky Strawberry. So I like the ban there from Boomba, trying to put Kenazito on something maybe he's a little less comfortable with. Now, Ashe obviously gives you the potential with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. You bring a ton of CC to the table to combo with the Maokai and Janna, and hopefully a safe enough landing phase into the Tristana. But I like Boomba trying to possibly put the bottom lane, on the back foot here. That could be a way for them into this game as they lock in their final 2 picks, Trundle and Pyke. This should be really fun.
Yeah, Pyke Tristana is such a strong bot lane. If they can hit that level 2 safely and get the all-in with the Pyke, there's so much CC chaining coming in from the Pyke, and Tristana, if she can get that reset, can just wreak terror over the bot lane, and that's just going to be double kill after double kill coming in if she can pick up the early kills.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much base damage the rocket jump has, but if you land it along with the explosive charge, it's huge. But last pick, it is the Master Yi. Little more context, we saw the game 1, and he popped the heck off.
Yeah, Bear King had a huge performance, was kind of that main carry for Asian Imports to get their first win in the series, and he's looking to have a repeat performance here. Team compositions all set up on your screen. This is for all the marbles here. Boomba needs a win to survive. They do come from the losers bracket, so that means if Boomba wins this game, they would still have to beat Asian Imports in a second best of 3 to be able to move on. But if Asian Imports is able to grab this victory, conceivably off of the back of Bear King and Morshoes on those kind of very to their style picks here, that could be the way Asian Imports moves on and gets to face off against Fruitling in the grand final.
Yeah, and Bear King, he's going to have to do a really good job of dodging out on the Lysandra CC during this game because she's pretty much the only one who's going to be able to lock down that Yi. And if Yi doesn't get locked down, he can just run over all these team fights. So that's what I'm going to be looking for side of Boomba to do, is to look to lock down the Yi with the Lysandra.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think Boomba is trying to play to their own pace. And I think on the other side, I think they're trying to definitely accelerate the team fight for the side of Asian Imports. I mean, the Master Yi, that's like you're hoping it pops off again in a team fight. You have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well as, I believe, another engage. But
they've got the Maokai on the top lane as well.
There you go. The Maokai as well. Hopefully for the flank to make sure you come in synced up and let the Master Yi just wreak havoc in that team fight. So, I mean, we'll have to see how it goes, right?
The interesting thing should be that we talk about Kenazito getting pushed off of a comfort pick onto the Ashe, but I think with the way the rest of the composition is built around the Ashe, I think really Kenazito has a lot of room to succeed here. He's got the Janna, which can provide a lot of peel, as well as the shield, which also grants that extra AD to just put more damage onto the Ashe. But then you also get the fact that you've got a Master Yi and a Vladimir that are just going to be running straight for the Boomba backline. And Boomba is going to heavily focus on those two because they're also very slippery. You get the Yi ultimate, he's not going to get slowed down, and then the Vladimir with his pool is very difficult to kind of corral in these fights, and that could mean that Kenazito should conceivably have the time in these fights if he's playing aggressive and confident enough with the backup from Spiky, could really be an X factor in these fights to deal out the damage, while we saw on the other side, Boomba Bomb was a big performer on the Jinx last game. So really, Kenazito could be the breaking point for Asian Imports to move on to the grand final here if they get this W.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the utility ADC pick coming in here with the Ashe. It's going to set up so well for the Yi and the Vladimir to really wreak havoc in these team fights. I can't even imagine if you managed to get his hands on the Sivir this game, the utility of that on the hunt would have been huge in these team fights. But that was a really smart ban from Boomba to ban that out, recognizing, hey, we don't want to give over a Sivir when they already have the Vladimir.
Yeah, they're already going to have the Vladimir running at you and the Maokai trying to get the flanks. You don't need them with any extra movement speed, but it still is going to be a tall task here for Boomba. Credit to them for the victory and trying to bring some of the things back that worked in the Ornn and the Lysandra. But really, with the composition that Asian Imports, I should say, is put together, they have the tools that they need to succeed, and it's very much them playing to the style that works for them, heavily playing around Morshoes and Bear King, giving them the ability to carry the game, and then Kenazito hopefully, along with Spiky, adding enough in the backside, and then Wacky Strawberry on the Maokai. I mean, that could be a huge playmaker for this team. If he can get the flanks and the Nature's Advance set up right, he can get, Nature's Grasp, I think, and then Twisted Advance onto the priority targets. I mean, it could be big trouble because the Tristana can rocket jump away, but that Twisted Advance is going to follow you, and you're going to get rooted if you aren't careful.
Yeah, you can't get away from that one.
That's true. And I mean, just, I would say that gives a lot of proactivity into the hands of Asian Imports, right? We talked about the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They have the engage with the Maokai, and of course, that collapse with the Master Yi and the Vladimir as well. But I mean, just giving them the priority, they seem like a very confident team, right? They came in super strong. And I think they're planning to take back this Game 3 that they didn't expect to drop the Game 2, and Game 3 should just be a statement like, nah, we should be moving forward.
Yeah, but again, Boomba going to be fighting back with all they got. They're on their last legs right here. And why we really want to look to is that Pyke pick in the bot lane. Last game we saw him on the Blitzcrank, huge playmaking support, and managed to get some really good hooks that managed to get them to win some team fights and even got them to win the game. So I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to do something similar with the Pyke, set up really well with the, I forgot the name of the abilities, but the Phantom Undertow.
Yeah.
He's going to do such a good job if he can land that CC on the targets and allow Tristana to just wreak havoc.
All right.
Well, we are into the game here. This is Game 3. Boomba versus Asian Imports. A spot in the Season 2 Grand Final is on the line. Boomba needs the reset and the win here. If they want to keep their season alive, Asian Imports just needs a single victory here. If they want to move on, the 5-man stack from Boomba will be spotted out by Asian Imports.
Yeah, just a little bit of feeling out at the moment. Obviously, both teams, this is Game 3, deciding game, and you don't want to take too many oversteps, right? Just trying to get some solid vision down, trying to see what the pathing is going to be for the enemy jungler, and hopefully you can plan from there. Hook just about wide.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about actually is Spiky took the Ignite in the bot lane on the Janna here. Even against the aggressive picks in the Tristana and the Pyke, still taking that kind of more lane dominant pick with the Ignite instead of the Exhaust, which might kind of force them to not go for an all-in. So curious to see how that one's going to play out in the bot lane.
Yeah, shows possibly a little more confidence from Spiky in this bottom lane matchup. Obviously, the Janna can have a ton of damage. You max a lot of Jannas max the Zephyr first because you have great trading potential with the damage from the W, and along with the Ignite, you can really start to whittle enemies down in the bottom lane if you play aggressively with that, and adding on top of that, you get the slows consistently from the Ashe with the volley as well as just her auto attacks. There is potential for Asian Imports to find a foothold in this bottom lane to dominate it, but it's certainly risky playing into picks like the Pipe that can really turn things on a dime.
Absolutely, and while we were talking about the team composition, the theoretical, we're now into game. We could talk about the practical. What is the early game that's going to come in here for the side of Boomba? Because I think there is definitely a universe where Tristana doesn't get rolling, where Pyke doesn't get rolling, and you just lack the damage to compete in that early to mid game against a big explosive composition like we're seeing on Asian Imports.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I wanted to note here is early in the game, Boomba Bear on the Trundle is going to have access to that gank potential as soon as he gets that pillar. Whereas on the side of Asian Imports, Bear King is on the E. You don't really have that gank potential until you hit the level 6 and get access to the Highlander. So he's going to be farming up for that 6, and Boomba Bear might actually be able to impact some of these lanes earlier.
We'll have to see Asian Imports bot lane pushing fairly aggressively here. Kenazito and Spiky trading pretty consistently into Boomba Beast and Boomba Bomb down here. Obviously the Pyke, if he can land that spear, can change things in an instant, but Spiky and Kenazito feeling pretty confident here in the early game as Boomba Time and Morshoes playing pretty safely in the mid lane, just looking to clear out these waves. Not a ton of kill potential between these two mages in the mid lane, and top lane shouldn't be too crazy to start, so we're really looking at either the bottom lane or anywhere the junglers decide to go early. Yep. So the focus going to heavily be on Kenazito and Spiky as well as Boomba Bomb and Boomba Beast. But here comes Boomba Bear. He's got double bust ready to go. He's going to be spotted out by a ward, so good early ward there from Spiky, and that will mean that the Trundle is spotted out. They just back away, willing to wait for this lane to push back to them.
Absolutely, like lovely peace of mind coming out from the side of Asian Imports bot lane. They know they don't have to overextend. They saw the Trundle in the ward, so they can just keep their patience with them. And I mean, my eye personally for the early game is going to be on Bear King. I think that Bear King should be going for these high percentage ganks, but other than that, trying to farm up, trying to hit 6 first, and then have a bigger impact in a gank. I mean, we know the Highlander, it resets off of kills, right? So he can really get rolling if he visits the right lane.
Yeah, and right now he just hit the level 4, got the Scuttle Crab, and the Scuttle Crab on top side is still up. So if Bear King can pick up these double Scuttle, he's going to have that XP lead. He's going to be able to hit that level 6 faster. And Boomba Bear is kind of running out of time to have an impact in the game before Bear King can pop off.
Trying to get bot lane here possibly for a lane gank. Here's going to be the aggression. Flash away for Kenazito. I honestly like that. Flashing away, avoiding the hook, kind of smelling something fishy there as Boomba Bear was in the bottom lane looking to go for that. Really just seeing there's no reason for this Pyke Tristana to just jump in so quickly, and Kenazito's like, I don't like this. I'm gonna flash out. So I like the safe play from Kenazito.
Again, good decision making overall, and that's the second time Boomba Bear took a visit to that bot lane. So definitely saying, I need to get my bot lane ahead. Here we go.
Yeah, Spiky going to take a lot of damage here. The bomb is down. That's the heal out from Kenazito. Spiky burning from the Ignite, the level up, which with the save. I don't know if he would have burned down from the Ignite without it, but definitely, we'll definitely take the level up and the extra health there to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, that just lets your mind rest at ease, having a little bit of extra HP.
It'll let Spiky's heart rate come down just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, that was just a straight up 2v2, almost killing the John. I thought Spiky over there just a little bit too far forward, but in the end, it was all calculated. He made it out alive, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you just type calculated in the chat. But the important thing is that Spiky held on to the flash there. So there's the potential of if Boomba Bear does try to gank and get that pillar down, he can still flash out. But Kenazito does not have access to the flash. So I'm looking to see the Trundle target this bot lane, target this AD carry, because Kenazito is going to be stuck nowhere on the Ashe. She's not mobile. She's not going to be able to get out if Boomba Bear can slow him with the pillar.
Yeah, it doesn't have the heal either thanks to that last 2v2 trade. So Kenazito is in big trouble if anybody decides to show up in this lane. So it's really going to heavily be on Spiky to use the Tornado as well as the Zephyr to peel for this Ashe. And keep those threats at arm's length. Obviously has the shield as well to keep that health bar up top side. Stumpy and Wacky Strawberry fairly even up here. CS nearly identical as the two tanks not doing a whole lot. The Ornn has some solid trades here. Wacky Strawberry has just been able to continually sustain with his passive as this lane will push into his tower. Things fairly even in mid lane as well. So nothing too crazy in the solo lane so far. Both junglers just focusing on farming now as Boomba Bear has not been able to find his way into a lane as of yet. But with him at level 5 as well as Bear King, we're very close to the action kicking off thanks to these junglers as Boomba Beast will take some damage here as he will go into stealth to heal back up.
Yeah, Pyke just keeping up the pressure. You can regenerate a lot of HP. Here comes Bear King.
He's 6 now, too.
Yeah, he's looking for the counter. Spiky going to take a lot of damage, possibly going to go down here. That will be first blood there for Boomba Bum. He's going to rocket jump away, but that's the return kill for Bear King as Boom Beast goes down. That's the Alpha Strike in, going for the tower dive. Will get the double kill onto the Yi. Bear King goes aggressive, and it pays off for Asian Imports.
And that's exactly what you want to see if you're Asian Imports. You get your jungler ahead. Bear King on the Master Yi. We talked about it. Game 1, he popped the heck off. This game, looking to do the same.
Getting rolling with that double kill early, so important on the, he's going to be a big factor in these upcoming team fights. And now, with that bot lane priority, that's going to allow Asian Imports to get access to this Drake in the coming moments. And a Cloud Drake, very important on the Vladimir. They're going to need that movement speed in these team fights to stay on top of the members of Boomba.
We did see Boomba Time roam down to bottom lane too late to affect that fight, was possibly hoping to catch the Ashe, but thanks to Kenazito and Bear King recognizing that the Lysandre was not on the map, they needed to back, so they get out just in time to avoid any sort of action with the Lysandre. That's a 2-0 Yi, who has, I believe, finished his full warrior enchant already. That's pre-8 minutes, finishing his jungle item completely. So Bear King off to a hell of a start here, grabs his red buff and possibly looking to invade and steal some camps away from Boomba Bear.
Or top even. He's starting to walk up right now, and
he's got the red buff.
Highlander just came off cooldown. You know he's going to go for this gank again.
Here comes the Ornn Horn, and it isn't even going to get the knock up. The teleport's coming through from Boomba Time, but down goes Stumpy quickly. No, Wacky Strawberry actually is going to fall first. Now Bear King needs to return some damage. He is going to get the sustain here, but is it going to be enough? The Q misses from Boomba Time. Can he escape? He's going to need to have a very sneaky Alpha Strike here. Can he get away? He's looking for the kill. Almost takes down Boomba Time. He's burning from the red buff. That will be the trade kill back. It's a 2-for-1 topside, but when things went disastrous, Bear King still gets one back. More shoes up to the top side. That is Stumpy going very low. That's going to be the kill easily for the Vladimir. He doesn't get the knock up. That is the shutdown for More Shoes. So good roam to the top side, gets a kill onto the Vladimir. We do need to mention, though, Cloud Drake picked up by Boomba while all of that action was happening top lane. So Boomba Bear taking advantage of where Bear King went on the map.
Right, some super intelligent reactions coming from the side of Boomba. First of all, they pull off the TP from Boomba Time in the top lane. That actually shuts down the gank almost completely. It was a trade of kills, and More Shoes did roam there in the end. But also, a second reaction, they go in to the Dragon Pit, and they just take it because they know the enemy jungler is in the top side. Just intelligent play coming out from Boomba. They are not sleeping on the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. And after giving over those 2 kills early to the side of Asian Imports bot lane, that double kill, very important coming in, they were able to get some control back now. They were able to pick up the Drake since there was some focus from Asian Imports on top side. And now it's kind of going to equalize the game. That 2-for-2 trade in the top is going to be huge for them.
And actually, I believe there was even a shutdown.
Yes.
On Bear King, so that's nice to have as well.
Yeah, the shutdown, though, was traded back as Stumpy did get 2 kills topside there, and More Shoes got the shutdown goal for him, so it keeps things relatively even. I mean, it's only a 300 gold lead, negligible at this point in the game there for Boomba, as More Shoes wants to go aggressively here, hasn't activated the ultimate, but is going to go for the Ignite. That's the ult from Boomba Time to get a little bit of sustain, but the Ignite will reduce that healing a bit. A couple of tower shots onto More Shoes means he does have to back away, and Boomba Bear's maybe looking for something here. We could see the
2v2.
Counter gank from Bear King. Boomba Bear spots the ward, but seems to still want to go aggressively. That's a lot of damage coming from the Vladimir. Boomba Bear has to flash away. There's the claw. That's the kill for More Shoes. They're looking for more in the tower dive. Bear King trying to survive. Alpha Strike will drop the aggro. More Shoes backs away, and another kill for Bear King, as that's a 4-1 Yi.
Oh, and what a quick dive coming in for the side of Bear King. Just sees his moment, pops the Highlanders, goes under tower, knows he has the support of More Shoes right behind him, and they pull it off 2-0. For the side of Asian Imports.
Yeah, beautiful play coming in from all of them. And More Shoes, I loved how he juggled the aggro there. He used his flash at the appropriate time, he used the Sanguine Pool at the appropriate time, and managed to pick up both kills there.
Okay. Morshu's actually going to get ignited here, but uses the ultimate. The pool to avoid the ultimate from Boomba Beast. Hell of a play there from Morshu's is now. That is the Pike having to back away with the Ignite Burning. The arrow from downtown will land, but it won't finish the kill. Just barely surviving there, Boomba Beast.
And I think that was Pike getting out of vision to regen a little bit more.
Just enough.
Not sure if the Enchanted Crystal would have done in execute, but either way, I mean, look at the play coming out of More Shoes. Just seems to know exactly what the Pike is looking for. The pool was like spot on in terms of the timing as well.
Yeah, that denied so much from Boomba. They put so much towards that play going mid, and More Shoes getting that Sanguine pull off just in time kind of denied all that gold going off. So Boomba Beast doesn't really get much out of going mid there, and now that lost them some priority now.
Yeah, Kenazito and Spiky holding on in this lane so far. 2 assists for the Ashe, looking for that Blade of the Ruin King start, while Boomba Bomb is looking to start with the Infinity Edge, has the Keecher Shard, as well as the Pickaxe and the BF Sword. We can take a peek at the gold leads here. About 400 ahead, Boomba Bomb with a solid start, but the gold leads really start to rear their head in these solo lanes. We've got about an 800 gold lead for More Shoes, but up top side, it's the flip. Stumpy with a large lead over Wacky Strawberry, sitting at about 600 gold.
And, I mean, Bear King as well, 1,600 gold ahead. I was going to say, sure, the score lines do show that Asian Imports ahead. I think they got ahead exactly where they want to. It's Bear King. It's his play coming out. He's coming out so strong. He gets a lead for himself with that bot gank. He's looking for another.
Yeah, and it's so important that the kills and the gold went onto the main carriers of Asian Imports. The Yi and the Vladimir have so much gold funneled into them early, and that's going to mean that they're going to be huge in these team fights. Whereas for Boomba, the kills went over to the Ornn. The tank play from that isn't going to benefit that much from the gold, so it's not like it was kills onto the Lissandra or onto the Tristana. So Boomba's gold is not in the spots where they want it to, where Asian Imports is.
Boomba Bear setting up for the lane gank here. Kenazito, that is going to be Spiky spotting it out and looks to actually play aggressively. It's going to take a lot of damage as there's the pillar, but here comes Boomba Bear. Teleports both from top side. Yes, it will. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will miss, but More Shoes going to get on to Boomba Bear. He's going to take a lot of damage, able to escape, does get caught by the ultimate of the Maokai, but he will survive, but Stumpy will not the kill to Kenazito. The healing there from Spiky, and Asian Imports wants to continue the push. Oh, Bear King going in. That's the kill onto the Trundle. He will survive. That's a 2-0, and a tower soon to come for Asian Imports as the 5-man bot lane pays off for the Asian Imports.
And that's just straight up. Bear King seeing another kill, does not hesitate. Flash, Alpha Strike in. That gains him another kill on top of a good skirmish, I would say. It started out a little bit scattered. I didn't know where the focus was coming in from Asian Imports, but finally, when we saw the TPs both come down, they just collapsed on the Ornn. That's going to be Ocean Drake as well. A nice, solid win for the side of Asian Imports.
Yeah, and they were able to make that play because Lissandra did not have the TP up yet. She used it on that top side play, so she wasn't able to react. All 5 members of Asian Imports were bot lane. More Shoes had great positioning on the flank, and that allowed them to get the double kill bot and the Drake. Such a good play coming from Asian Imports.
Asian Imports get a huge, huge helping of gold and map presence out of that play. Bear King will get caught here. It's going to take a lot of damage. He's looking to just go in aggressively. He can't escape from aggro. That will be the shutdown going to the Pike. That does mean extra gold to the team. Kenazito has to back away, trying to juke out the spear, but he will not. Stumpy grabs that kill onto Kenazito, so Boomba gets 2 back here. They will look to push in mid. We do have to mention that fight went 2-0 in favor of Asian Imports. They get first tower gold bot side and turn it into an Ocean Drake as well, but Boomba turning it back. They get a couple kills for themselves and now looking for the Rift Herald.
Exactly. They even up the kill score overall if you think about that bot lane and the mid-game fight, and they're looking to take the Rift Herald as well. And that was just a heads-up play coming out from Boomba. They see Asian Imports taking a little bit too much, and they punish on it. You saw the Pike hook as well, earning them a second kill. That's definitely going to be Rift Herald over to Boomba. So again, we're seeing this sort of back and forth. Asian Imports, they come out with proactivity, but Boomba, by no means are they sitting down quietly and taking it.
Yeah, And Asian Imports definitely with a bit of an overstay on that play, but ooh.
This is
channel
big
kiss there
trouble.
out mid.
The claw not available for Boomba time there as he was stunned in it. Is going to use the ultimate to survive a little bit longer, but it will not matter. Morshoe's going to grab his third kill here, comboed with Kenazito. Now Boomba Bear forces the flash over the wall up to the top side. The ultimate comes out from the Maokai. They're looking to get onto Boomba Bomb. Down he goes to Wacky Strawberry. Now Stumpy, can he escape? Twisted Advance will lock him down. Bear King's got the damage. Can he finish it off? He's going to sustain, and he will finish the kill. Bear King grabs his 6 as here comes Asian Imports punching back once again.
Again, the proactivity coming out from Asian Imports. They go ahead and take a 2v2 in the top lane, burst down the AD carry first, and then they can go ahead and focus onto the tank. It's just really solid focus coming out from them, and overall they're just taking more and more. You feel like Asian Imports are always one step ahead of Boomba.
Yeah, despite the play that just went in Boomba's favor, Asian Imports get a cross map play. They get the kill in mid lane as well as a 2v2 in top lane, and that results in the turret going down. And now they have all the outer turrets down. They're going to have so much access to this map. They're going to be able to get Envision in the jungle, and there's not really much Boomba can do. They don't have any turrets down. They don't have the priority in the lanes right now.
The Asian Imports freight train is picking up steam fast. They've got about a 4,000 gold lead. They're looking for their 4th tower top side. That tier 2 is going to go very low. Boomba will save it for the moment. And it looks like Asian Imports will take the safe play and just back away here, recognizing that they've got the lead and the champions to play with. They don't need to play too aggressively, but they've gotten moving. They've got the gold where they want it, especially here on Morshoes and Bear King, so they really are enabled so heavily to play the aggressive style that they want on these champions. So Asian Imports set up big time here in game number 3.
And I think that top siege overall is just a tell that Asian Imports, okay, they made a mistake in the mid. They gave over 2 kills for free, you would say. Now, though, they're playing it much more intelligently, much slower, just patiently grinding away. Like you said, Seal, they have the vision control to work with now that they've taken down the tier 1 towers, and they could just start to play this vision war, start to look for the right picks. And Boomba, they just don't have enough damage right now.
Yeah. Boomba, you need the damage from the Tristana to get there, but she's sitting only at the Infinity Edge, and then just now Azeel. She hasn't finished that second item yet, doesn't have the tier 2 boots, so she's not going to be able to pump out the same damage as the Master Yi and the Vladimir from Asian Imports, so it's really going to be on the Tristana to get as much farm as she can to kind of equalize the team fights a bit.
Yeah, and with the way the rest of the team composition is set up for Boomba, Boomba Bomb is even more important. You're already playing a Tristana, it's supposed to be a big damage threat, but when you look at the rest of the map, the Lissandra is going to provide a lot of utility, but not a ton of damage, as well as Boomba Bear and Stumpy, who are building heavily towards tankiness. Granted, we do see a little damage built here by the Trundle. Looking to get some just clear in the camps to clear out his jungle a little quicker, but Boomba Bomb really is going to have to carry the load of the damage in these fights, and if he can't get in and deal with Bear King and Morshoes, then it's going to be a really tough time for Boomba here. They're catching waves in mid as Asian Imports is trying to clear out some vision around this next Drake. It is, in fact, we can look at the pit here in just a second. It is a Cloud Drake here, so it would be the first Cloud Drake for Asian Imports. A double stack for Boomba. They're looking to get the brush camp here, drop a pink ward to spot things out there. Instead, just going to turn straight to the Cloud Drake to contest. May come from Boomba. We'll have to see. They're going to try and get some vision, but it's going to be way too late here. The spear over the wall will hit nothing from Boomba Beast, and that's a second Drake for Asian Imports.
Just the solid control coming out from the side of Asian Imports. They do earn themselves another Cloud Drake, or a Cloud Drake, like you said. That is going to synergize quite a bit with Bear King as well. I will say, just looking at the game overall, when we start to get towards these 5-5 team fights, I think it's going to be completely kite play coming out of the side of Boomba. Like, they have to make sure that they deal with Bear King first, but how are you going to deal with that when you have a Vladimir going on top of you, a Maokai as well with the Twisted Advance, and the Strangling Thorns as well? I mean, there's just so much to deal with, and if all else fails, you still have Kenazito dealing a good damage.
Yeah, there's so much that Boomba has to kind of get away from in the team fights, and they don't really have access to that many ways to do it. Sure, the Trundle can ult the Maokai and make him not as tanky. Sure, Boomba Time can use that Frozen Prison onto maybe Morshoes or Kenazito, but you're still going to have to deal with the other one who's still alive. There's so many carries on the side of Asian Imports who are ahead right now.
Yeah, Okay, Enchanted Crystal.
Oh yeah, that's going to hit onto the support. Booba Beast going to be thrown into the bounce house, and Wacky Strawberry will secure the kill. The power of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow shown off there as they pick off the Pike here. Now they're looking to push. They've got the split here. They're looking for the 4-1 with the Yi on the top side, and really the Ornn cannot match the Yi at this point. Now they'll be able to push in 4v3 in mid lane. They're going to need to see some aggression from the Lissandra, but that's going to be Booba Time taking so much damage, force the self-ult here. That means no lockdown under the priority targets. Morshoes can go crazy, but that is the Tristana doing the damage that she needs to do. Boomba Bomb is able to force Morshoes to flash away, now looking for the aggressive play here. That's the flash from Kenazito. The volley coming out, and the peel from Spiky will keep the Ashe alive, and Boomba surviving despite the aggression in the outnumbered fight for Asian Imports. Boomba will survive.
That's right. It was a 1-4 split started for Asian Imports, and I think they just play a little bit too aggressively in that mid. You can play it slowly. You can let that top lane chip. You can already see a good amount of damage onto that top lane tower, but they have to back for the moment.
Yeah, most of Asian Imports' gold is also on this Master Yi with Bear King, and him not being there in the team fight means that Boomba actually wasn't at that much of a gold disadvantage overall for the team fight.
That is a about 33 to 3,400 gold lead for Bear King over Boomba Bear. That is just an insane gap in gold between these two junglers, and it just shows how much of a presence Bear King has been throughout this game. And I agree, you talk about not needing to be aggressive in the mid lane. Just lean on the power of that Yi. He's going to be able to whittle down that top tower. The Ornn is not going to stop him. He just keeps waiting for the waves, keeps working on that tower. You just have to be patient and lean on the lead that you already have there. No need to go aggressive in mid, but we may see some action around Baron, approaching the 23-minute mark, and it looks like Asian Imports wants to ensure that they have the vision around this objective.
And I was talking earlier about how Boomba, they want to get their gold onto Boomba Bomb, on the Tristana, and they've successfully done that. He's the most farmed member of the team, and if he can continue to farm like this, continue to get that gold lead, he's going to be able to be, able to match the Vladimir and the Master Yi in the team fights, and that's exactly what Boomba needs if they want to secure this win.
Absolutely, and we'll just check right back up onto those item builds, but it's the solo queue special, I gotta say, coming out from Bear King. My heart goes out to Boomba because we've all experienced it. A Master Yi goes rampant, not in your lane, but like on the opposite side of the map, and it becomes so hard to deal with. Here we go, an engage coming in.
Yeah, going aggressively, but here comes the call. The Forge God is going to get the knockup on a 2. Kenazito going to survive momentarily, but Boomba Beast able to get the execute, but here comes Morshoes dealing a lot of damage to the front line. That's 1 kill onto the Pike. Now they're looking for more. Stumpy is low. Wacky Strawberry takes down Boomba Time. That's a 3-for-1, and Asian Imports wants more. Here comes Bear King. Flash Alpha Strike. That's the double. Looking for the triple, and the Yi is going off. Asian Imports with the ace, and now they're looking for more on the map.
And what a fight coming in. It looks so competitive for the first 2 seconds, I would say, but you gotta calculate in. I'm sorry, guys. You gotta calculate in the Hemoplague damage, then the entrance of Bear King as well, so well timed, syncing up with when that Hemoplague pops, and you just get an absolute clean up janitor play coming out from Bear King. They're on the Baron now.
Yeah, that was just beautiful the way that happened. Boomba did the right play. They got a pick on a Kenazito, but Morshoes got invulnerable with that single pull right in the middle of all of them, got the AoE off onto everyone, and Bear King got there right as soon as the AoE went off, and low health bars on the E means he's going to get the recess. And now with the Baron, that's going to even empower the 4-1 even more for Asian Imports. Yes, Master Yi's going to be in the side lane. Nobody's going to be able to match him. He has so much gold on him, and he still hasn't backed yet. Once he gets this next item, nobody's going to be even close to matching him now.
How much is he going to buy here? I'm actually very curious.
Shiv,
okay, Stack Shiv. Yeah, that's good. That's just upfront damage that you can work with, as well as the dragon being worked on by Kenazito at the moment. Which dragon was that?
That was Ocean Drake. Second Ocean Drake there for Asian Imports. And I think it's interesting you guys mentioned when you look at where that fight takes place, near the blue buff there for Boomba, and you look at Boomba's team composition, that's a composition that is typically more than happy to fight in close proximity. They've got the AoE CC and the damage, especially from the Lissandra. But when you look at Asian Imports, that's another team that is more than happy to fight in close quarters as well. It makes it the Alpha Strike more effective, and Morshoes can get the Hemoplague onto multiple members. That makes that team fight even more effective. So as much as Boomba maybe wants to fight in close proximity, Asian Imports doesn't mind that whatsoever.
Absolutely. In fact, I think they definitely thrived off of that last team fight. You could see it was sort of a linear path up to down team fight, Asian Imports against Boomba, but coming in on the right side was Bear King with a beautiful flank play, and that just allows him to go immediately into the heart of the enemy team. And now we do have a siege coming in now. Wonder how much, or what lane assignments rather, will be the deciding factor for Asian Imports.
Yeah, and you were talking earlier about how both these teams kind of want to look to fight in these choke points like that. But for Boomba, Boomba time isn't very fed on Losandra. He doesn't have the same items as the members of Asian Imports. The Vladimir already has a death gap, and he's picked up the Medjay Soul Stealer as well. He's looking to just get fed this game and do as much damage as possible.
His team's looking to break the base as well. They're onto Boomba Bear. He's able to flash away, but will not escape from the Vladimir. Morshu's gonna grab another kill. Now they're looking to possibly end the game here. That's the double for the Vladimir. Looking for the triple. That is the triple for Morshu's. Looking for the quadra. Kenazito will grab that one. Stumpy trying to run.
Stumpy.
The Ornn will not escape. And Asian Imports, they aren't gonna take down the Ornn. He will actually get to the fountain, thankfully, for Boomba. But Asian Imports absolutely demolished that fight. That's a 4-4-0. They've already taken down the towers in tower singular in mid lane. They get the inhibitor to follow. They've got the minions and the death timers. They're looking to finish this off. Boomba Beast is up in a moment, so is Boomba Bear, but this could be it. Asian Imports, the dominance of the Central continues, and they're gonna move on to face Fruitling in your Season 2 Grand Finals.
We talked about the second to last team fight. I mean, that was competitive for the first 2 seconds. This one, not even competitive in the first second. It was just absolute sweep coming out for the side of Asian Imports, and just the entire time, proactive play coming out. It's really nice to see, and I'm very excited for those grand finals coming in.
Going to be very interesting. Asian Imports with a commanding performance to finish that one off. It looked a little shaky there pre-10 minutes as Boomba really seemed willing to kind of trade blows with Asian Imports and kept pace for a little while. But really, once Morshu's got going, once Bear King got moving on the E, it was big trouble there for Boomba as they really just could no longer contain those two champions, and they really ran away with that whole game.
Yeah, like you said, there was so much back and forth in that early game. Boomba was trading very evenly with Asian Imports, but as soon as the gold got on the Vladimir, as soon as the gold got on the Master Yi, there just wasn't any way to deal with them during these fights. They didn't have enough tools to disengage, and Asian Imports was able to run over the entire game and take the win.
Definitely a huge victory there, and that means a 2-1 win in the Central Final for Asian Imports, and they will be the Central representative to face off against Fruitling and the E-Boys in the Late Night League Season 2 Grand Finals. We have that coming up next. We're going to head to a short break, but stick with us, folks. We've got the biggest best of 5 of 2019 coming your way in just a few.
believe you. Do you even understand what's going on? Every day here is another one lost in the real world.
Yeah, but right now, we're not in the real world, are we?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Yeso here with Seal and Switch as we get ready for the Season 2 Grand Finals. Fruitling and the E-Boys representing the Western region going up against the Central Region champions, Asian Imports, who we just saw finish off a best of 3 with Boomba. We've got a huge series coming up, and as we prepare to get into Champion Select, we decided we would have a little fun with our breakdown of this matchup.
That's right. Gentlemen, may I introduce you to the Wheel of Destiny?
I love it. I love it. The Wheel of Destiny.
You know what? We didn't have a name in prep, and Switch picked the perfect one.
That's right, yeah. It fits perfectly. We have slices such as Yumi, just Yumi, or hot takes. So let's just go ahead, give it a spin, and see what we can talk about.
why not?
What do we got? What do we got?
All right. Oh, Wheel of Destiny. And that is First Blood, I believe.
First Blood. Seal, why don't you take it?
All right, so I think between these two teams, First Blood is more likely to go over to the side of Fruitling and the E-Boys. They have Chad Jungle in the jungle. This guy, so proactive. He's probably our highest ranked player in the entire tournament. He's Grandmaster 287 LP. This guy knows how to play jungle.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if he didn't end up being a part of that First Blood for Fruitling and the E-Boys.
That's absolutely fair. I cannot argue with that. He's literally the highest ranked person coming in, you know, and like by a wide margin too. Grandmaster, that's not Master, that's Grandmaster. So I gotta agree with you that that's not even a hot take. I mean, it was a First Blood prediction, but that's not hot.
And I mean, looking at the last game there for Asian Imports, if we're looking at the other side and the possibilities of First Blood coming from Asian Imports, I think we have to talk to the jungle role as well. Bear King, huge on the Master Yi, has been a huge playmaker for the team. It's probably heavily focused around the mid lane and Morshoes, who is kind of their main carry throughout a lot of games. But I think there's going to be a heavy focus in the early games in these First Bloods around that mid-jungle combo to try and get these teams rolling.
Yeah, another one I might want to talk about is Morshoes. He's been pretty lane dominant in pretty much all the central games. So I think we could see a First Blood maybe coming out from him, but again, it could go either way.
I think it totally depends on what they leave open. Will they leave the Anivia open? That's a good question. But I mean, I think if we would see a First Blood onto Bear King, I think it would definitely be post 6. I guess depending on what champion, but when I hear him, Master Yi comes to mind, so I think post 6. But I think if Asian Imports want to get a First Blood, I think they'll have to definitely slow down the pace of the laning phase, make sure they hit that level 6, pick a lane, and go for it.
All right, well, let's give it another spin as we continue to break down this series. First Blood there, and what else do we have for you, Switch?
Let me tell you. That is First Gank.
First gank, so we can talk a little bit more about the jungle here, which I think is important looking at these two playmakers. And as we mentioned, Chad Jungle, the highest ranked player really in the tournament, a huge playmaker for the side of Fruitling and the E-Boys, and it really seems to be kind of the straw that stirs the drink on that side. And then Bear King, I mean, as we talked about, first ganks are probably going to heavily focus around the mid lanes. Both of those mid lanes are very strong. Bon Voyage versus Morshoes, definitely a matchup we're going to have to pay attention to. Any possibility you guys see going towards the side lanes and maybe how that can affect the game?
Yeah, I think we might end up seeing Chad Jungle try to focus the bot lane of Asian Imports. The bot lane of Asian Imports has been exploited a bit in the past. In some of their closer games and even some of their losses, they've been a bit of a weak point. And I think that Chad Jungle might try to focus the bot lane with some ganks. But again, I think you're entirely correct. We will see more of a mid lane focus from both the junglers in this game.
I mean, I think we agree that if anything, that it's a very high percentage that's going to be around that bot lane. Like, there definitely is a huge disparity there, as well as we see a lot of utility picks coming out for the side of Asian Imports in terms of that bot lane. I think it definitely is exploitable if you want to go there. Just judging off of the champion pool coming out for Chad Jungle, I mean, he's got crazy picks like the Kindred, the Graves, like just really high pressure.
The Pentakill and Kha'Zix earlier in the season as well.
Yeah, we do love to remember those.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Alrighty.
Another
one.
more spin for the Wheel of Destiny. Let's see it.
Give me some good Wheel of Destiny. That is Team Comp for the West.
So that's Fruitling
Right.
and the E-Boys. Switch, you did some deep diving here onto the champion pools for these players. Kick us off. Let's start on the top side for what you're expecting team composition-wise for Fruitling.
I mean, I think it's just going to be solid tank play. I don't think they're going to play around it too much. just judging from the fact that also on the other side, you have Asian Imports also playing just sturdy tank play. So I don't think we'll see too much attention going there. Both teams will probably pick engagers. I'm thinking perhaps the Malphite, perhaps the Darius, perhaps the Ornn as well. That is also a shared champion, I believe. So we'll just have to look at that top lane and say, wait for team fights. But I mean, we talked about the jungle as well. It's going to be high priority, I think, coming out for the side of Chad jungle. On the other side, probably more going around that level 6 spike for the side of the jungler for Asian Imports. And in the mid lane, I think we're going to see more of control mages, right? We talked about the Anivia, but as well, the Lux, the Orianna. These are all definitely good picks in that mid meta right now. I think the Ahri we might also see coming out as well.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about from Freeling and the E-Boys is their mid laner, Bon Voyage. He's played one of my favorite champions who's almost never gets played, is Xerath. I love seeing Xerath played. Such a high skill cap champion. You have to land those skill shots. You have to know how to play your matchups and stay at range from pretty much every other champion because you're so vulnerable. But if you know how to play it well, you can just take over games on that pick.
Now, as we head down to the bot lane there for E-Boy Whisperer, as you talked about earlier, possibly an exploitable area for Asian Imports. Now, if you're looking at the 80 carry, what kind of picks are you looking for then there to try and get the bot lane going?
I personally think just anything that can really start snowballing. So we have the Kai'Sa. That's definitely a pick that is doing good in the meta right now, especially around this Manamune build. Kai'Sa has sort of cemented herself as a good pick at the moment. You still have the Jinx. You have hyper carries that build crit as well. So Jinx, Sivir, thinking Caitlyn as well, a very lane dominant pick so that you can start the ball rolling on that bot side. Hopefully prep up before you get that gank and just execute based off of that.
And down to support as we close out the team composition for the West that we're expecting. Seal, what are your thoughts there to pair along with E-Boy Whisper?
I mean, we were talking about getting some crit reliant ADCs, some of those hyper scaling ADCs. Get something that fits very well with that. The Lulu, the Janna, the Nami, something that empowers that bot lane, allows you to get that lane dominance, maybe even a Yuumi.
We may have to talk about that a little bit later, but an interesting pick that could rear its head in this series.
Absolutely. Shall I, boys?
I think we have to go for one more spin at least.
More.
The Wheel of Destiny. Back to first gank. No, we're going to have to run it one more.
Come on, Wheel of
Give
Destiny.
me another spin.
Give me a good one.
Give me something spicy.
You can give it like a little bit more fit.
Predictions. All right.
You never lets me down.
What a perfect spin there. All right. We'll start on my left here then. Seal, we've got the two top teams in this season, Fruitling and the E-Boys and Asian Imports. Where do you think this one's going?
So both these teams dominated their respective regions. Fruitling and the E-Boys pretty much won every game they played in the West. And Asian Imports, they only dropped 1 or 2 games in the Central region. But I do think Fruitling is going to have the advantage in this one. I say 3-1 Fruitling for the day.
I am actually going to have to agree with you on that one. I think Fruitling, just on paper, looks absolutely insane. Obviously, both of these teams have dominated their respective regions, or they wouldn't be at the top. But Fruitling and the E-Boys, I mean, they just look fantastic. And their bot lane that isn't even driven by an 80 carry main is also a point that they play around as well. So just the versatility, the strength on paper coming out for Fruitling and the E-Boys. I'm going to say 3-2 Fruitling and the E-Boys.
3-2. Interesting. I'm actually going to have to mix it up here a little bit. I still think Fruitling and the E-Boys are going to win because I think they're very strong, and I'm actually going to go for the 3-0 sweep. I'm rooting for a 5-game series. I think that there's certainly the potential there, especially if Bear King and Morshoes can get things rolling for Asian Imports. They really could push this team to some huge wins, and in speaking with both of these teams prior to the series, they have been scrimming each other actually fairly regularly through the last few weeks, and as the season has gone on, Asian Imports has slowly been able to find more wins and scrims, has been able to kind of find some more footholds. But when I just look man for man, top to all the way down to bottom at this Fruitling and the E-Boys lineup compared to Asian Imports, I just think that man for man, they are just a better lineup, except for possibly mid lane, because I do think that Morshoes has been, I think, probably the biggest candidate for MVP of Season 2 here. But I just think Fruitling man for man is just a better team here, and I think they have the edge. So I'm going to say 3-0 Fruitling, but rooting for 5 games.
Yeah, I also hope we see a 5-game series today. I think because these were the top teams from both of our regions, we're going to see a much higher level of gameplay than we saw from the rest of late night leagues so far. all the other 7 weeks leading to this, it's been teams that haven't necessarily been at the top facing each other. And now we have the 2 top teams facing each other finally. So I think we're going to get some more macro play, some more teams playing more around objectives, not just fighting just to fight.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think intelligent play is exactly what we're going to see. I mean, we just watched Asian Imports. They had tons of priority. They had tons of proactivity. But on the other hand, Fruitling and the E-Boys, we built them up. They are so dominant. So I think we're just going to see a macro war coming out, you know, and mechanical outplays all over, hopefully, for the side of Fruitling E-Boys and Asian Imports. And I think they're both going to be coming with as much as they have for this Grand Finals.
And you mentioned the shift in play to possibly more macro styles. We do get the 2 top teams this season facing off. I think one thing that we will also have to keep an eye out for is the in-series meta. This is one of the most fun things that you get when you watch these best of 5s and 2 teams that have to match up for up to 5 games, in the way that draft shifts based on what happened last game, what are you expecting, and the in-series meta here could get very interesting, as these teams are going to have to grapple to find edges in Champion Select to bring out onto the Rift and try and get a victory, especially when we look at the side of Asian Imports. I'm going to expect a lot of creativity from their side to possibly, you know, maybe mitigate the crutch that kind of is their bottom lane. So we're going to need to see some creativity and draft from them, but watching the meta develop in this series is going to be very fun. And we are into Champion Select here to kick off this best of 5. One thing we do have to mention is Pro Draft was used by these teams prior, so they have already done their draft, so should be pretty straightforward here, top to bottom picks. But as we see the bans here early, the Yi already taken off the board by Fruitling against Asian Imports, recognizing that Bear King has had some big carry performances on that champion. They're not even going to give him a chance, and then some more focus, the more shoots Vlad and Ivy are off the board.
Yeah, and I mean, the respect coming out from both teams, that's exactly what you want to see, and it's appreciated as well. Seal, that is that Xerath that you mentioned, and the Caitlyn as well, taken down. They don't want to see too much snowballing coming down for the side of Fruitling in that bot lane. I mean, Caitlyn, she's so suffocating, but we can already see the top laners locked in. It is going to be the Nautilus, which might have even been flexed in the pick and ban, but either way, up against the Shen. So again, like I said, probably not too much action there. That's just tank play going on.
Yeah, and again, with some of the picks we've seen, we're going to be able to talk about that first gank we talked about. Kha'Zix in for the side of Cab Jungle. That's going to probably be an early gank. He wants to get started early. And then Bear King on the Skarner, he's going to be looking towards that level 6 to really gank. He needs the Predator to actually be able to pull off some of these successful ganks. So I'm imagining much more proactivity coming out from Chad Jungle in the early game. And Nautilus, I think probably the strongest pick overall in this patch. Our inside Fruitling bears well for them.
And we get this Zoe here from Morshoes. He eats a couple of bans in the first phase, but does get the Zoe coming through. Has been one of his strongest picks when the Anivia has been banned away, and certainly tons of kill potential and playmaking potential there for Morshoes on that champion. So love him getting to bring out a signature to start things off.
I see the TP on the 80 carry of Fruitling right here. Will we see a Yuumi in the bot lane?
This is possible. So one thing to mention about Yuumi is pretty much the standard play is you take TP on your AD carry, because if you are attached, you follow that member on TPs, and you also see on the support
never mind.
Nami. Okay,
Wait a second.
Okay, so we may see some switches here. We will touch on Yuumi a bit later if we get it on the wheel or if it comes up in draft, but there are some interesting things to mention there. But with the Nami locked in here, we are expecting no Yuumi this time around. The Jinx picked up, and that is the Ezreal to complete the bottom lane for Fruitling.
And I'm not sure about this bot lane mix-up. It could be an accident, or it could just be the fact that, like we said, they're both support mains, right? That's the inspiration for the name, Fruitling and the E-Boys. They're both E-Boys in that bot lane. Maybe they're just deciding, hey, you can ADC this game.
Well, I can actually confirm. I don't know if she's an E-girl, but E-Boy Whisperer is not an E-Boy. I can confirm.
Wow.
I can confirm that.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Insider info.
She whispers to the E-Boys. Do want to actually give a special thank you out to E-Boy Whisperer and Bon Voyage, as well as Morshoes on the side of Asian Imports. Got to take some time to speak to the members of both teams prior to this series. Get a little more insight into the teams. It's a little more difficult with teams scattered across different locations and not getting to see them in person. So huge thank you out to them for taking the time to talk with me for a little bit, give me a little more insight into their season as we preview this series. So it gives us just a little more of an in-depth look at the two teams, and we'll get to bring up a little more of what we talked about throughout this series. But as Champion Select is finished off, we get some interesting drafts here. It was the Jinx Braum in the bottom lane there for Asian Imports into the Nami Ezreal. So we talked about the bot lane possibly exploitable against Asian Imports. What do you guys like the Jinx Braum draft then?
I actually love the Jinx Braum. It offers so much protection for the AD carry, and Spikey's shown a lot of prowess on champions that can protect his AD carry well. We've seen him pick the Nami almost every game, I believe, during the seasonal late night league, and now he's on the Braum, still going to be there to protect his AD carry, has the disengage potential, and that's so important when you have the Jinx. You need to keep her up, keep her alive.
Yeah, and that Braum, I will say, is going to bring a little bit more utility as well than, for example, the Nami. I think Braum has a much better time hard engaging, and that is what you want coming into the first game, right? You want proactivity. You want to dictate the game at your pace, and hopefully the side of Asian Imports have better proactivity, have better decision making, and they can take this first game. I like the Jinx as well. It definitely is a bit of a departure from that normal playstyle that we see in the bot from Asian Imports, but I mean, Jinx is so strong right now. I'd love to see it pop off.
Back to the jungle. We touched on it a little bit earlier. We get to see Chad Jungle bring out that signature Kha'Zix that he has been an absolute menace on throughout the season into the Skarner pick for Bear King. A shift here from more of the carry-oriented play we've seen from him, at least today, and sporadically throughout the season. Doesn't get the E, it's banned away, and now it's something that is going to require more assistance from the team. Granted, the Skarner can be a threat when he has that Spire captured. He gets that buff into his attack speed. So we could see some interesting things there, but we are going to throw it to a short commercial break here. When we come back, guys, we'll have more analysis as well as the start of the game as we kick off our grand final here. Fruitling and the E-Boys and Asian Imports Game 1 coming to you in just a few.
And the phase rush to get on out there. Oh, watches it, goes for the touch right case and gets two people down. He's going for the 1v3, looking for one more. Let's see if he can do it. Let's see if he can get another kill for himself. There it is. He's looking for it. He gets the poison. He gets it. He's unstoppable. One more to go. But gets interrupted by the Talon there. So now it's going to be a 3v4 down here as Jin has been able to take it down. But here comes. Oh, he stole that Inferno Drink! Boom! Able to take that one for himself. But at the cost was. Ragnarok's going to be coming out. And here comes the Roots to. Oh, the Stun Daddy is back! And he gets a 4-man crescendo. And tie game. We are looking to turn this one around. It was a 4v5 on triple. But here comes, Stun Daddy maybe in a little bit of trouble, gonna get taunted up, and P-Kai looking to see if they can take advantage of this fight right now. 4v5, not looking good for Titan Gaming at all. Double kill right now, going out for Kai, so looking for a triple, looking to see if she's gonna be able to get one more. No, not gonna get taken down just yet, but he will eventually. Perfect read from Booba Blood. That is going to be Snowflake. Maybe take it down here. He's going to be looking for the Song Battery play. Oh, so far. Boomba going to be able to get one. They're going to be able to get two. They're going to be able to get three.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, most of you didn't touch your keyboards. We appreciate you. If you did, we're going to have to bring out the wheel of Undestiny for you later. We'll see about that. But thank you for sticking with us, folks. We're about ready to kick off game number 1 here between Fruitling and the E-Boys and Asian Imports. JC Yeso McDonough joined by Jordan Switch Estrada as well as my good friend Shane Seal Erickson as we prepare for a best of 5 between the two top teams in Season 2. We broke down a little bit of the draft. Give me your just predictions for game 1 then. Based off of Champion Select, where do you see the strengths here in this game 1?
I mean, I think right off the bat, we might just see Fruitling and the E-Boys just come out swinging. I mean, they have the composition that they wanted, I believe. Although that bot lane is not as strong as you would like, I think Ezreal has a great 2-item power spike. You have the Nautilus, you have the Kha'Zix that we talked about for Chad Jungle, like you said, the pentakill that he came up with. So I think they have the right tools, and they might just pop off this game.
Yeah, and one thing we talked about as well was getting that the control mage pick for Bon Voyage in the mid lane. But on the other side, Morsu's on his Zoe, probably his best pick we've seen from him this season. So I think Asian Imports actually do have the tools to potentially deal with Fruitling this game. But again, it's going to be on the back of Nautilus, Kha'Zix, and just so many power picks on the side of Fruitling.
It's going to be interesting to watch. We are on to the Rift, folks. Up to 5 games here between these two titans of Late Night League, duking it out for the Season 2 title. $500, Triumphant Rise skins, and tons of RP all on the line here. Winner takes all in this best of 5 series. Line of scrimmage starts essentially from both teams. We'll have to see if we see a development of level 1s in this series. One of my favorite invades that I use with my team, and anybody scouting me from my leagues, you guys aren't allowed to use this. But one of my favorite invades is that early tri-brush invade. You go deep in the lane, you hug the wall coming down, and if you've got something like a Morgana or the Nautilus, you've got pretty free lockdown on that level 1 if anybody is waiting in that tri-brush in that line of scrimmage start. So we'll have to see if either of these teams try to employ that in this series, but nothing crazy to start here. Both junglers will start on the top side of the map, and everybody goes to their lanes.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we didn't see an invade coming from Asian Imports. They have the Braum, who's probably the strongest level 1 champion when it comes to invade. Has that lockdown already on that ability because of his passive. And once he gets those blows up, there's no way that you can escape it.
It's honestly, it would have been nice to see. Because I think if you're coming into game 1, you really want to blow up the series, right? You get a good level 1, and that puts the enemy on the back foot, and it changes the whole context of the game depending on who you get the kills onto. I mean, early ganks as well. We could just see some early ganks going onto some key members of either side, and that could change the context of the game.
And especially considering that the Braum is on the side of Asian Imports. I think Fruitling is content to play these level 1s safe. I think they're coming into the series very confident that they can get a win. But if you're Asian Imports, I think you want to make a splash and make a big play early to get your team moving. And the Braum is something that can do that. As you say, one of the strongest level 1 champions. You bring CC onto anybody you can get an auto attack on or that winner's bite. So nothing at level 1 here, but we'll have to see if Asian Imports maybe develop that aggression throughout this series. Now Chad Jungle going for the full clear here, actually. Down to his red buff now, has already taken Raptors and his entire top side of the jungle here. Bear King doing the same, already taking the Wolves onto his blue buff. So heavy farming starts from both of these junglers.
Yeah, both these junglers rotating towards that bot side scuttle right now, potentially, so we might see them meet up early, but what's important is Skarner actually has control of that bot side Aspire, so if they do meet up, Skarner is going to be out trading the Kha'Zix in the early game.
Yeah, very true, and I mean, judging from that full clear, we now know that Chad Jungle, he's sort of decidedly going to stay around this bot side, I would say, or go for a very quick back, but either way, we talked about the Ezreal, quick 2-item power spike, as opposed to the Jinx, who I think needs at least 3 items to really get rolling. However, the spot lane for Asian Imports, I think it's a perfect setup for a Skarner gank. If you go post 6, you have the Glacial Fissure to start up. You also have the execute damage coming out from the Super Mega Death Rocket. So lots of stuff to work with. So I would love to see Asian Imports try and make a level 6 gank happen.
Yeah, and already Bear King picking up those boosts. Now he actually has a Keystone, because when you take Predator, you don't have access to any Keystone before you pick up the boost. So now he has that power gank potential already.
Aggression here from Morshoes, actually forcing out the flash. Oh, the early cleanse. That could be the kill. Morshoes has the back way. He's going to take the tower shot. He's going to get the heal for the Triumph. That's the kill. First blood for Morshoes. But the trade's going to come back as Chad Jungle shows up in mid lane. But I love the Asian Imports mid laner wants to start this game spicy, goes in aggressive, and gets the kill onto Bon Voyage.
Yeah, all credit to Morshoes right there. What an absolutely nuts play. First of all, picks up the flash, utilizes the flash to go in for the final kill, then picks up the heal as well. That helps him get out safely. Of course, before Chad Jungler does execute him. But either way, sick play coming out from Morshoes. That's what you want to see game 1.
Yeah, I said before the game when we spun the Wheel of Destiny that we had a potential to see a first blood from Morshoes, and that was it.
Yeah.
He showed that he knows this champ in and out. He landed the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, and when you land that, there's just nothing you can really do. And now there's no cleanse on Bon Voyage. That's an easy target for them to focus once Bear King hits that level 6 and has access to that ultimate.
And we have to say, possibly a bit of a mental advantage here in the mid lane for Morshoes is Bon Voyage actually hit the cleanse early. Now that could just be a misclick, but still, that play really just costs him his life. If he gets that cleanse out probably on time, he survives. There's almost no way that Morshoes can finish off that kill because he doesn't take the extra damage under tower while he's just stuck sitting there asleep. So Bon Voyage going to have to utilize that cleanse a little better because Morshoes has the kill potential, already had it at level 4, and it's only gonna get crazier for this Zoe as she gets moving.
Absolutely. I mean, with every outplay comes a minor misplay coming on the other side. And like you said, Bon Voyage a little bit too early on that cleanse. And against other champions, that probably wouldn't have mattered. He was under the tower. But Zoe, she just makes things work for her. There we go, again coming in. But it's just a little love tap. And I mean, like you said, the Zoe, already 1 kill. And Zoe just preys on or low mobility champions. You can already see the junks coming out here as both supports, or rather just the side of Spiky, roaming in for some good coverage of that mid lane that is going to dissuade any ganks from going any further for Chad jungle.
Bon Voyage with the wave clear on the Vel'Koz, just trying to hold on mid lane for now, but Morshoes playing aggressively, landing a lot of those paddle stars and whittling his way through the Vel'Koz's health bar here early. So early dominance in mid lane for Morshoes hasn't shown in the CS numbers as of yet, but still the pressure is in favor of the Zoe.
Yeah, we were talking earlier before the game started, the Asian Imports bot lane was a weakness that could be exploited, and right now they're already down to almost 20 CS.
Oh, but they're looking to get something going here. That's going to be the winner's bite onto E-Boy Whisper. Force the flash away from the traps. Is going to get slowed down. Bear King here with the ult from the Shen. That's the taunt of the Ezreal. E-Boy Whisper is going to go down. That's a kill for Kenazito. Now they're looking for another. That's 2 for the Jinx. The double kill for Kenazito. And here comes Asian Imports.
And that's a stand united for insurance. But Asian Imports with what a great gank, utilizing the Blast Cone. That gets the Skarner into a good position. Like I said, they have the follow-up with the Braum. They make it happen, and that's Infernal Drake too. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, winning that bot lane fight gives them the advantage, get this Infernal Drake. But that was so important because Asian Imports bot lane was struggling. When you're struggling, you bring your jungler, you bring your top laner. It's a 4v2 at that point. You can't struggle at that point, and such a good job on the execution on that play. Wacky Strawberry landing the taunt onto the Ezreal. Great job from Spiky landing the Winter's Bite also, so they could stack that concussive blows, get the stun off onto both E-Boy Whisper and Tujanet, and then they just both go down. Great play overall from Asian Imports.
We wanted to see Asian Imports taking some risks to make big plays early. We didn't see it at level 1, but even pre-level 6, they recognized they need to get plays going to get this game in their favor. But in the mid lane, Morshoes going to get taken down by Bon Voyage as Chad Jungle makes his presence known in the mid lane, and that's the kill onto Zoe. Now the bot lane here. Big trouble for Asian Imports. He'll forced out from Kenazito. Tujanet still playing aggressively here. And we do actually have to note that they did switch. That's the shutdown for the Ezreal, taking down Kenazito. The flash force out from Spiky. That's the double for the Ezreal. And Fruitling gets 2 kills right back. One thing we do need to mention, E-Boy Whisper has actually traditionally been playing the AD carrier bot lane role for Fruitling during the season, and they do switch it up. Tujanet actually up to AD carry here on the Ezreal, and E-Boy Whisper on the Nami this time around. So that is an interesting flexibility here we could see for those two based on champion, select. Maybe they get a better pick for Tujanet in the AD carry position, and they switch things up. So one thing to keep an eye on is Bon Voyage taking a lot of damage here. He's going to get grabbed by Bear King, and the kill finished off there for the Skarner. So Asian Imports trying to keep pace in the kill department, but they're down 2K gold regardless.
Yeah, and I was going to say, great response coming out from Fruitlings. We saw them go behind because of that that ultimate from Shen in the bot lane. They 4-man it, they get the kills, they get the Infernal Drake. A response comes out from Fruitlings. Would you believe it? They kill the mid laner, they go ahead and execute just a clean 2v2 from the side of E-Boy Whisper and Tujanet. I mean, and finally, the trade kill onto the mid. That is Skarner playing around his cooldowns, so very intelligent play overall. But this game is still definitely neck and neck at the moment.
Yeah, both these teams, again, such a good job from Tujanet and E-Boy Whisper getting that 2v2 kill after falling behind. That's so important for them to equalize that gold in the bot lane, and now they're going to be able to press their lead even further. That was all sums blown, except for the exhaust for Asian Imports bot lane. Yep. And that means Fruitling is going to have access to those ganks again, and with Chad Jungle, I mean, I loved the way he passed towards that mid lane gank on the Morshoes earlier. It gave him no real option to get out of there. Such impressive play from him on the Kha'Zix. Used the stealth perfectly, and he has so much damage already. He's gotten the Warrior Enchant completed, and he's building towards that Serrated Dirk.
Got double buffs now and looking to possibly go for an invade here. Skarner, not the easiest champion to invade if he has possession of those spires. He is at a significant advantage The stats he grabs there, but instead it's going to be Chad Jungle onto the Rift Herald here, looking to solo this one out, and with no vision. Asian Imports may have spotted it out. It depends how far Chad Jungle stepped up. He may have stepped into vision, but Asian Imports may not have even noticed, and that is going to be the Rift Herald solo secure for Chad Jungle.
Yeah, and such an early Rift Herald coming in means they will probably be able to use this towards turret plays, and that's so much gold going over in the early game. And if they can get that onto the right member, I'd imagine they want to use it either in the bot lane or the mid lane, and they actually just use it right now in the mid lane. That's going to be a lot of gold going over to Bon Voyage and Chad Jungle if they can get this charge off.
No hesitation. Just right now. All right, Rift Herald going down. This is pre-14 minutes, by the way, so all
They're just
that
gonna take
nice
the turret.
gold.
And this is also just Bear King caught between a rock and a hard place here. They're going to go for the engage. That's going to be actually a lot of damage on a Bon Voyage from the towers. And Morshoes is actually going to secure the kill. The tower goes down, but it's a 1-for-0 trade in the kill department. Possibly looking for 2. Chad Jungle going to get taunted. Bear King's here. Wacky Strawberry finishes it off, so a misplay from Fruitling. They go aggressive for the kills, and it turns back to bite them. A 2-for-0 trade back for Asian Imports.
Absolutely, just a little bit too ambitious for that mid lane tower. You saw Chad Jungle decide to execute. Okay, here we go.
Aggression in the bot lane. That's the traps going down, but the bubble on Kenazito's big trouble. That's the true shot barrage and the double kill for Tujane's Ezreal.
What a 2v2 coming out. They're just coming out swinging in this bot lane, and we talked about the disparity in the bot lanes is there, and you can tangibly feel it right now. That's already a 4-in-1 Ezreal. That level, that 2-item power spike rather, is going to come in real quick.
Yeah, E-Boy Whisper and Tujane really showing that even though they're 2 support mains, they're doing everything they can in this bot lane, and they're showing up Asian Imports bot lane, who got help in the early game, and it doesn't even matter because they're just getting the lead all on their own.
I would love to take a peek at the gold leads here so far, as Fruitling has about a 3,000, just over a 3,000 gold lead, and we look at the bottom lane. There it is. 1,800 gold ahead is Tujane over Kenazito. The Ezreal looking so strong now, and really interesting enough, a carry that likes to play the early game fairly safe, looking to scale up, get the Muramana going, and get to that second item where you really hit that mid-game power point for the Ezreal. But thanks to the pairing with E-Boy Whisper, who has looked very good on the Nami so far, this Ezreal has been dominant here in the early game and has a huge lead over Kenazito.
Yeah, the Nami just absolutely enables an AD carry to play much more forward. I mean, has the heals that also does damage if it bounces, has the empowered auto attacks as well. So Tujane, I think he stuck around just to get enough gold to finish that Triforce, if I'm not mistaken, just straight up Triforce right there. That
and already stacking the tier.
Yeah, already stacking the tier, so close to that Mana Monet as well. He is going to come in like a truck in these mid-game skirmishes. Yeah, I love the Triforce here too, because normally you have the option of going for either of the 2 Sheen items. You can go for the Iceborne Gauntlet or the Triforce. But here, no real need for the Iceborne Gauntlet. There's no big AD threat on the side of Asian Imports. And sure, you could use it to maybe slow the Shen or the Skarner, but he's just going all out with the aggression, built the Triforce, and that's going to be even more damage, even more 2v2 threat coming in from Fruitling's bot lane here. I love it.
The Iceborne Gauntlet does also bring some peeling and kiting potential, but it really seems like the way Tujane has played so far, he doesn't want to play on the back foot, wants to play aggressively with this Ezreal. Bear King looking for Chad Jungle here. He isn't even going to use the Blast Cone. He's just going to lure them over towards the tower, but Halfsam is here for the assist. That's going to be the ultimate onto Bear King. A lot of damage coming through here. Here comes Bon Voyage. This could be big trouble. Over the wall. Wacky Strawberry's going to go down. Bear King flashes to escape, but here comes Halfsam. Morshoes here for the assist. Do they have the damage? Bear King going to get the shield. A little bit of a heal momentarily, but there's the laser over the wall. Bon Voyage grabs the first kill. Now they're looking for Morshoes. That's the flash away to avoid the knockup. The sleep onto the Nautilus could buy enough space for Morshoes. He needs to escape from the dredge line. Looks like Halfsam is just out of range, won't be able to land it. So Morshoes will escape, but that's still a 2-for-0 in favor of Fruitling.
And you could see the determination coming out of Bear King. He wanted Chad Jungle on the Kha'Zix, but it ended up going so deep that I think Fruitling just had the better collapse coming in. And that is just 2 kills over.
Yeah, they played to their champion's limits right there. Chad Jungle going out in such low HP, and he barely survived, jumped out at the last second, and got as much damage as he could.
Tries to escape. He's going to land the winner's bite. Where's his team? Wacky Strawberry is not close enough. He's actually going to get cut off. This Braum just running for his life, but here comes Chad Jungle. That's going to be the smite, the flash away with the Glacial Fissure, but the dredge line finishes it off. Halfsam just pops in. He says, yeah, I'll take that last 10 health. Grabs the kill here.
Being taken.
Yeah, Drake is actually going to be secured by Asian Imports. That's 2 Drakes for them. So in the neutral objective department, they are winning with the 2-0 in terms of Drakes, but the gold is just so heavily in favor of Fruitling.
Yeah, absolutely. And rightly so. You do punish the sort of big chase for one Braum going in, or rather, you take advantage of that, leading across the members of Fruitling. You take the Dragon as well, and I mean, not too much of a sacrifice, I would say. Ocean Drake, it's still relatively early into the game, so you are going to appreciate that a little bit in the laning phase, a little bit in these early skirmishes perhaps, but overall, like you said, you want to be stacking up those Dragons, because if it goes down to it, if we come down to 40 minutes, that Elder Drake is going to pack a punch for you if you are Asian Imports.
Yeah, and one thing that's important to note that just happened in that exchange for the Drake is that the Ezreal went down. Tujane had that bounty on him, and I believe that went over to Bear King. If it went over to Kenazito, that would have been a lot more gold in his pocket, but it went over to the tank. And you'll still take that, though. That's a lot of gold going over. That's a lot of advantage going over back to Asian Imports. And I know this was a ways back, but around that top lane play earlier where we saw Fruitling kind of run away with that fight, I loved the teamwork coming in from them. Half Sam flashed in front of the Zoe, the Paddle Star, to save his mid laner, Bon Voyage, and that was just a beautiful play from him, so props to Half Sam on that.
It's a homie move.
Exactly.
Bear King is going to secure the Scuttle Crab near the Baron pit here. 17 minutes in, and with Rift Herald already down, there's no neutral objectives to play for on the map as of yet. So really just teams trying to secure vision on the map as they prepare for the Baron to spawn. But Tujane so confident on this Ezreal, takes down the 3rd tower for Fruitling as he knocks down that tier 2 in the bottom lane. Kenazito will arrive to clear out this wave, as Bear King will come down for a little extra safety, and Fruitling going for the 3-man invade topside.
And it just seems like Fruitling, they're a little bit of a step ahead. You saw that roam coming in down onto that bot lane from Bear King, but fashionably late. It was way too late, and I think now we're going to see the Ezreal rotating to the top lane. They're definitely going to take another tower because that top lane tower is so weak, and a lot of gold you can expect coming in. It might just be a 4-0 tower lead for the side of Fruitlings. I think Asian Imports, they need to pull something off.
I mean, this is already a 6K gold lead for Fruitling as we hit the 18-minute mark. So they are securely in the lead in this game and looking to run away with it. And I mean, Tujane is only just now hitting that big Ezreal power spike we talked about. The 2-item spike, getting the Muramana, as well as the Trinity Force also has his CDR boots finished up. So Tujane has already dominated the early game and is only going to be stronger now for it. So really, Fruitling is now ready to go and trying to run away with this game as the defense topside from Asian Imports as they look to protect this tier 2 tower. The bot lane isn't there, so this is a 3v4 defense.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about is Chad Jungle did pay the Skarner tax this game. He picked up the QSS this early. That means he's not going to be a valid target for the Skarner ultimate. That kind of lowers the amount of people that Bear King is going to be effective against. And I love that pickup this early. He's really respecting the power of the Skarner, rather.
Yeah, typically you hate to have to do it so early, but
and
honestly,
there we go.
And he just kills Bear King off screen. Insane there from Chad Jungle on the Kazakhs. But typically you hate to have to do it so early, but it seems like Chad Jungle recognizing the rest of his team has such a huge lead as Bon Voyage is going to take a lot of damage. Flashes away the aggression from Wacky Strawberry, looking for the kill. Now he's trying to get onto Ebu Whisper. Here's the laser, the shield, but that is going to be Wacky Strawberry going down. Bon Voyage escaping by the hair on his tentacles.
Chad Jungle's behind.
Oh, he's looking to come in for the kills. That's more shoes going down. Looking for more, but that's the trade back as Kenazito's got the kill, and he's excited. Looking for Tujane. Tujane, Arcane shifts away to buy some space. Will survive. Gonna look to poke out and get some sustain from E-Boy Whisperer. Man, Chad Jungle looking for the aggression. Gets the kill, but traded back. Kenazito's gonna feel really good about that gold on the Jinx.
And Fruitling's getting very comfortable with their play right now. They do punish, I would say, an overextension coming out from Wacky Strawberry, but it's just Asian Imports trying to get something in return. You look at this poke here from the Vel'Koz as well as in ahead Ezreal, and it's so tough to deal with right now. Just
Tujane says, this is my tower, go away.
Absolutely, chasing them between 2 towers, and that might just be the 5th tower of the game. Fruitling are just on a roll right now.
Yeah, they've opened up the map so much already, and now we have the Baron spawn. It's hit that 20 minutes, and we're about to have another Drake spawn. I'm not sure which one it is yet. If we get a camera pan to it, that would be great. Let's see which Drake is it. It's going to be another Ocean Drake. So if Fruitling can pick that up, they have the map advantage to pick that up with those waves pushed in. That is going to equalize the amount of power they have, and it's going to increase their siege potential as the game goes on. Ezreal, Vel'Koz are going to be able to continue to poke, be able to stay in lane, and get these siege situations to go out very well.
And I gotta say, sure, we're going to even up the Ocean Drakes right now. There's always been an Infernal Drake on the side of Asian imports, and we just haven't quite felt it, I would say. Not necessarily a huge amount of damage coming out from either the Zoe or the Jinx at the moment. And, I mean, even Chad Jungle, just having faith in his own play so much to say, like, yeah, I can afford to sink 1,300 into a QSS.
Oh my
What a
gosh,
snipe!
Tujane just destroying Kenazito there. Able to get the burst
Now
out of
Baron
his
gets
E
started up.
with the...
Here we go.
Oh, man.
This is just going so fast, and Asian imports are not ready for it.
We've seen so many Barons in this meta between that 20 to 23 minute mark, and Fruitling is going to follow the trend here, looking to take it down at 21.5 minutes. It's down below 4,000 health. Asian imports maybe wants to contest. Bon Voyage over on the other side of the wall, going to come in. That's the steal. No, it is not. Chat Jungle is going to secure the Baron. The kill goes to Bon Voyage as the Skarner goes down, and here comes Chat Jungle. They've taken down more shoes. The Glacial Fissure will not save the Braum. The double kill for Chat Jungle, and that's 2 for 0, make it 3 in the Baron for Fruitling and the E-Boys.
And the well-deserved punish coming in for Fruitling. It was all according to plan for them. They secure the Baron as well as punish the side of Asian imports for overextending. They get 3 kills on top of that. And what do you do at this point if you are Asian imports? You're looking at a sieging top lane right now.
It's very scary. I mean, there really seems to be such a
and
narrow
there's the
win condition here for Asian imports.
man.
True shot barrage. Oh, no.
Yeah, that play was so important. It was a 50-50 chance on the Baron. Bear King actually ran in, but
They're maybe looking to finish it off. That's going to be the bubble and a wacky strawberry as they try to escape. But that's 2 down. Looking for a third. Bon Voyage is getting the kill onto the Shen. E-Boy Whisperer able to secure one for himself. Tujane wants more. Morshu's having to back away. Bubble will miss. Bear King looking for more. Has the backup there, but not enough damage for Morshu's. Morshu's needs to heal on the fountain, but won't be able to survive long enough. Actually has to flash away from the dredge line there as Bon Voyage has escorted Baron buffed minions up to these towers. They're taking down the first Nexus tower, possibly looking for a second. The defense is going to have to come out from just Morshu's and Bear King. Now the bottom lane comes. Here comes Kenazito and Spiky. Can they save the base? The minions are doing a lot of work, and Fruitling will take the safe play and back out there looking for the Ocean Drake possibly, and just to reset the map.
Now, you can't really ask for much more coming from a Baron on that play, taking both the Nexus turrets, 2 inhibitors, and there's only 1 turret remaining on the side of Asian imports. Fruitling doing pretty much everything you can with that Baron buff in this situation.
Absolutely. And yeah, sure. Asian imports, now they get a chance to catch their breath. But that was all in the span of like 5 minutes, like from the Baron all the way to almost ending the game.
I mean, that's 10-0 in towers. And it was,
yeah.
You talking about that 5-minute period? I think it was 4 or 5 towers prior to that.
Honestly, it was, yeah. It's just crazy. Fruitling are going at breakneck speed right now. And what a statement coming out in the game 1 as well. I mean, Asian imports, they're going to give it their final effort, but this siege is coming in very quickly.
Yeah, I honestly don't really see a way in which Asian imports claw their way back through this game. Morshu's has played very well on the Zoe, landing skill shots that he's needed to, but it just hasn't been enough against so many powerful members on the team. You see, the team is so good at blocking for him.
The dredge line just misses in the ultimate from the Nautilus. Will knock Morshu's up and will secure the True Shot barrage, but not the kill as of yet. Asian imports trying to defend as best they can, but their Nexus is exposed. Kenazito is down. Wacky Strawberry soon to follow as Bear King is just trying to buy some space. Chat Jungle will die to the fountain. The kill credit goes to Wacky Strawberry, but that is going to be the ace, and game 1 will go to Fruitling and the E-Boys in this grand final.
And what a statement coming out from the side of Fruitling and the E-Boys. I mean, just the pace that they went at. They dictated the game for themselves. They come out swinging here, and what do you do now in this second game for the pick and ban? I mean, there's so many people that popped off that last game. You think about E-Boy Whisperer and Tujinet in that bot lane. Do you get rid of the Ezreal now? Do you get rid of possibly the Nami and Chad Jungle? We can't forget to mention him. He basically directed the entire early game coming in.
Yeah, I'd imagine in game 2 we're going to see Asian imports on the blue side, so they might be able to pick themselves the power of maybe the Nautilus because it went through the ban phase this time. But I'd imagine we're going to see some adaptability coming in over the next few games in this series. I don't think we'll see that Ezreal come in again ever for Tuesday. He popped off so hard this game on that pick, as well as Chad Jungle with the Kha'Zix, showing why he's so good at this champion, showing why he's Grandmaster. Such immaculate play coming in from him in this series, and I'm really excited for what we see in the next games.
Really quickly before we head to break, I want to pose one question for you guys. Early game, it looked like Asian Imports was able to exploit the matchup in mid lane. The 1v1 heavily seemed to be in favor of more shoes there with the Zoe into the Vel'Koz. They only banned away the Xerath there early. Do you guys think there's a possibility to maybe focus more bans towards mid lane and maybe understand that there's so many cooks in the kitchen on the rest of the map there for Fruitling that you maybe can't spread out the bans enough, but maybe if you can get a big enough lead on more shoes in mid, do you think that's possibly a way in for Asian Imports?
Absolutely.
Actually, I think we'll probably see more of an emphasis on the jungle ban, because it was the jungle that changed the pace of the mid lane here. It was Chad Jungle coming with the Kha'Zix, getting that lead, so that Zoe wasn't really able to kind of play out the lead that she had. And I trust more shoes to know his matchups. I know he's not going to struggle no matter what he's up against. I think we're not going to see any mid lane bans, and I think we're going to see a jungle ban instead come in.
I mean, that's solid logic. I would just say maybe because of the confident play coming out from more shoes, maybe we can see him setting up a good matchup.
All right. Well, we'll find out very soon. We're going to throw to a short break, but when we return, we've got Game 2 of Fruitling and the E-Boys against Asian Imports in the Season 2 Grand Final. Stick with us. We'll be back in just a few. Okay, folks, we have returned Yeso, Seal, and Switch here to bring you all of the action as our Season 2 Grand Finals continue. Asian Imports started hot in Game 1, but weren't able to push it to a victory. As Fruitling and the E-Boys dominated in the mid-game heavily around their mid-jungle duo. Take the lead in the series 1-0. Now we have to see Asian Imports trying to even things up. Your pro draft is done, and we're heading into official champion select in the client. Ban's already done, and a couple things. Anything you want to highlight there in the ban phase?
I mean, yeah, we have to break down the context because the whole order of these picks is not shown here, but that is the last pick of Rengar, actually. So Chad Jungle receiving a lot of attention in the ban phase, but actually notably you mentioned the Kazakhs let through, but in this case he actually preferred the Rengar. And I think when you look at the composition that we're going to start see coming out for the side of Asian Imports, it makes a lot of sense. You have a lot of immobile carries that you can take advantage of if you are Rengar.
Now with Rengar, what also you need to do is he has that W. When it's empowered from his passive, he can escape CC.
Yeah.
It's going to be so important against an Ashe, a Lux, and a Nami. It's going to give him the tools to get out once he goes in. So I really like the Rengar pick against those champions specifically.
All right, just zooming our way here through Champion Select as we will see these second phase bans. The Hecarim targeted there at half Sam. Very big player on that pick, and more bans towards the mid lane as they tried to limit Morshu's champion pool here. But as we've mentioned before, he's got so many picks that he can perform on. He played the Lux earlier today. While it was in a loss in that game 2 against Boomba, still performed very well. Was able to steal an Elder Dragon with it, so something he still can perform on, but still Fruitling respecting the mid laner of Asian Imports.
And here's a play point that you have if you are Asian Imports. The mid-jungle duo are available to us at the moment. And Xin Zhao Lux actually sounds disgusting if you land a snare. You're able to get the knock-up as well. Lux has follow-up damage. And post-6, she does have that final spark to work with. So I think a huge amount of damage at your disposal if you can get on top of that immobile Vel'Koz. But it all comes down to the play of Chad Jungle. I think he absolutely orchestrated that early game for us Game 1 and Game 2 on a different pick, but still quite aggressive.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about as well is the map, or the map-wide pressure coming in from Fruitling. Shen on the team means that Stand United can go to anywhere else on the map. So if Xin Zhao tries to pull off a gank against someone, they're going to be able to react with the Shen ultimate, and it's going to be really hard for Asian Imports to find these kills early once Half Sam hits that level 6 and has access to the Stand United.
And you combine that with E-Boy Whisperer on the Soraka with the global heal is going to make that much more difficult as well. So there is the pressure coming from Bear King and Morshoes with that mid-jungle duo, but there is some response available for Fruitling.
Yeah, and E-Boy Whisper, like you said, on the Soraka. 2G Net, however, he got the Ezreal again, and he put on such a confident performance that last game. Will we see it again? But however, we do see Kenzito, I believe, on the Ashe now. So back to a bit of his comfort. He does prefer those utility AD carries. So yeah, we'll give a good amount of proactivity to the side of Asian Imports.
And you also combine that Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well. So there are some playmaking ability for the lineup there of Asian Imports. But we're going to have to call for the return of the Wheel of Destiny here before game number 2. We've adjusted it a little bit, added in some new things here, and we're going to get a spin here from Switch. What are we hoping for?
What does Destiny lead us to today?
It says Team Comp Central. So Asian Imports. We saw top to bottom. Top
Scion?
side. Yes.
Yep.
Scion, Xin Zhao, Lux, Ashe, and then Nami. So break down this team composition for me, Switch.
I mean, like I already mentioned, you have the utility bot lane. Again, in the top side, we're just seeing that tank matchup, and that's perfectly fine because if you are the side of Asian Imports, I think you're really looking to blow it up in terms of team fighting. I think we've already seen the early game go in favor of the side of Fruitling. Yeah. Fruitling, it's already gone in their favor. I think they have a much more solid decision making because they were so handily taking tower after tower. Sure, they were behind dragons, but that's okay if you're getting ahead in gold, right? The gold is in your pocket at the moment, and the dragon, it may come into play later. But either way, Fruitlings, solid early game. So I think Asian Imports might find an opening if they can come in with a stronger team fight. And Morshoes, on a very influential mid laner as well, I think you're giving your team exactly the right tools that fit your playstyle.
Yeah, and another thing I want to talk about is Asian Imports bot lane in this game. It is that is the Ezreal or the Ashe Nami.
Yeah.
That's right, not Ezreal Nami. That's what we saw last game. So the Ashe Nami has a much more early power than the Jinx Braum we saw last game. Jinx very slow to start. Ashe has that push potential early with the volley, has the ability to push in the wave, and that's going to be super important against an Ezreal. He's not going to be able to farm under tower like last game. He didn't need to farm under tower. Now he's going to be forced to farm under tower. So we might not be able to see as much proactivity coming out from Fruitling's bot lane here. I think Asian Imports is going to have the push. They're going to have priority on that Drake as well.
Yeah, and last thing I'll mention, the Xin Zhao in the jungle. I actually really like getting more priority in terms of your early 2v2 mid-jungle than the side of Fruitling. I think if you want to play around everyone, we've talked about it before, Morshoes, right? He's a carry in that mid lane. If you set him up, I think he will really take off and bring his team with him.
All right, let's sneak in one more spin before we get into game number 2. Asian Imports looking to tie this series up. Destiny says to talk about not the team comp in this central. We're going to talk about adaptation. So we saw some shifts in the draft here. Let's start with Fruitling, as we really touched on the central side there with Asian Imports. Talk about and maybe some adaptation if and at all necessary for Fruitling.
Right. I mean, on one hand, they kept the same AD carry, but on the other hand, they received a lot of bans now to Chad jungle. They decide they had the Kha'Zix available to them, by the way, but the adaptation coming in with the Rengar pick now, and I think just giving Chad jungle the exact right pick that he wants, not necessarily in the early game, but in those skirmishes, in those 5v5 team fights. I think he just prefers the Rengar more, and I think it might just lead to the success of Fruitling.
So on the side of the central region, Asian Imports some adaptation from them, Seal.
I actually really like that adaptation in the jungle we saw. Last game, it was kind of the Skarner. It was the level 6 potential coming in from Bear King, whereas now he has the Xin Zhao. He can impact at level 2, even level 3, and that's going to provide much more access to the team in the early parts of the game.
All right, well, Destiny has spoken, and we have kicked off game number 2 between Fruitling and the E-Boys and Asian Imports. We're on to the Rift. Asian Imports looking to tie this game up, and Fruitling possibly with the 5-man invade. They're heading down towards this Tri-Brush bot side. No members of Asian Imports are here, and they won't even spot out the invade either. So we're going to probably see Fruitling hook around to the top of red buff. Spiky is in that brush. Should spot it fairly early. We'll see. We're going to get that toggle of vision. So here's the information that Fruitling has. Uh-oh, Spiky's in big trouble, going to walk right into this, and that's going to be some sushi for the Rengar at level 1 as Fruitling will grab first blood for Chad jungle.
And what a way to start it, getting your first kill onto Chad jungle. This Rengar, we haven't seen it before, but it's looking bright future already.
Yeah, you always talk about how cats, they love dipping their paw into the fish bowl. That's exactly what this was right there. Chad jungle gets the fish in the bowl this time, and he already has that kill under his belt and bought the early longsword. That's going to give him so much more power in the early game.
Yeah, the problem there for Asian Imports was Spiky swimming a little too close to the surface there, getting a little too close to that cat claw, and Chad jungle will take a swipe. take a piece out of Spiky, grab that first blood, and that means he gets to go back, grabs, instead of grabbing the second piece of his jungle item, instead elects for the longsword, so some more dueling power. So we may see Chat Jungle go for an aggressive invade or try to affect these lanes early with that first blood.
Absolutely. I think it's a solid pick too. Getting that longsword, knowing you're ahead of that early spiking Xin Zhao, does this change the context of that jungle 1v1? We'll have to see if they meet around the Scuttle Crabs. But first of all, yeah, so I got to say, you're a prophet, my guy, because you predicted.
Stop it.
You predicted the adaptations in the level 1, and we saw it right here. Fruitling, they felt confident. They took the win game 1, and coming into game 2, they're not letting up.
Well, the interesting part I would have to say was I was hoping for some more adaptation at level 1 from Asian Imports. They still took the same start, but they they sort of botch it, right? The way to play around that tri-brush is there's a couple ways to play it. You can go and sit in it, but you're at risk of not having vision and getting caught by a level 1. You can step out, which typically means you're at least forced to flash if the team shows, or you waste the ward at level 1, just put it out in the river to try and spot it out. But I don't like that Asian Imports is still playing so conservative at level 1. I feel like they need to go aggressive, try and kick this game off with a bang and try and get Fruitling on the back foot. But Fruitling says, hey, you want to see some level 1 action, we got it for you.
Yeah, and Chat Jungle getting the blue buff seal away, he has vision of this. He knows exactly where Bear King is.
No.
Bear King's low HP too. We might see Chat Jungle
He's
coming
going to get the
in.
spite sustain. Uh-oh, that's the jump in, and good roam from Bomb Voyage, aggressively going in the jungle to combine with Chat Jungle here. And that forces out the flash from the Xin Zhao there.
That's just Bear King caught with his pants down there. Didn't even go for the buff to buff. Just thought it was secure for him to go, and or rather, might have even given it over knowing. But in the end, goes for the Gromp. You have Chat Jungle waiting there. He's a Grandmaster Jungle. This guy, it's not his first rodeo taking over the game, and he's already off to a great start, blowing the flash from the side of Bear King.
Yeah, getting that early ward onto the red buff on the side of Asian Imports allowed Fruitling's jungler to know exactly the pathing of the Xin Zhao. So he knew that he had time to pick up the blue buff as well as sit in the brush and wait for him to come. And credit to Bear King, that was the perfect angle for him to flash out to escape there. But you hate to see that when you're the jungler. You get triple buffed and you're behind in XP, you're behind in gold, and that's just rough.
And Switch, you mentioned the possible shifting dynamic of that jungle matchup when the Rengar gets that level 1 kill and is able to back and get the longsword, and Chat Jungle recognizes it as well. He knows that he gets that extra attack damage. He's feeling confident, obviously, with that first blood. He goes in with the Rengar, aggressively invading, is able to steal away the Gromp and force out the flash there. So Chat Jungle recognizing that he's got a lot of power on this pick, even pre-6, a jungler who is famously waiting for that ultimate, but Bear King still wants to get something done mid lane. He's going to force out the flash from Bomb Voyage. Good play there from the jungle. He's going to get knocked up there, so good trade back from Bomb Voyage, and Bear King still having some early effect in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Chat Jungle, while putting on a masterclass of how to take control of the game if you are a jungler. On the other side, ooh, little dodge there. That's going to mean the sign getting out of safety. I was going to say, on the other side, Bear King, not intimidated too much. I mean, going for that mid gank does get the flash out as well. So although the 1v1 in the jungle, I think it might just favor Chat Jungle at this point. At the same time though, Bear King still knows what he's playing towards, right? You're playing towards that mid lane. You're trying to get more shoes ahead, getting more agency for him to carry the game, and blows the flash already. We'll have to see if he comes back for a return gank.
Yeah, but look at Chat Jungle right now. He has the highest CS in the game. He's at 42 at 5.5 minutes. He's going up too.
Excuse me?
And Xin Zhao is at 20.
Balance.
He's so far ahead. That early kill allows him to farm his jungle faster. Getting the steal on the other camps meant that he could just go back and farm his own camps too. And now he has such a huge lead over Bear King, and he's not even level 6 on the Rengar yet. Once he hits the level 6, he's going to have so much access to all this damage that just wouldn't have been there. But he's so far ahead. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do and where he's going to focus once he hits that level 6.
Chat Jungle continuing to focus on that dueling potential as well as trying to build on that CS lead as he grabs the team mat, still sitting on that extra longsword, and also has his boots and the Hunter's Machete. So not rushing his jungle item as of yet. Could shift a little bit in after getting the team mat and go for the Warrior enchant. We'll have to wait for his next buy to see exactly what he wants to go for, but Chat Jungle is a huge threat on the map right now, and he hasn't even hit level 6.
One thing I want to talk about as well is the bot lane on the side of Fruitling, again, has a pretty large CS lead right now. They're up 20 CS in the early game. Despite Kenazito being on a more proactive early game champ, they weren't able to shut down the Ezreal very effectively. He's been able to sit in lane, pick up his tier, and just farm exactly how he wants to right now.
Whoa, that's aggressive.
Kenazito trading back. That's going to be the silent and the root onto Spiky. And
Wow.
Kenazito taking the extremely safe heal there. Expecting further aggression from Tujane and E-Boy Whisperer, not wanting Spiky to go down there. And you mentioned that CS lead. They were essentially even in CS 2 minutes ago. But Tujane, so adept on this Ezreal, continuing to show his prowess on the champion, has built now a near 20 CS lead, has the 1 assist to his name as well, thanks to the first blood, and looking to get things rolling in this bottom lane. We'll have level 6 very soon, and has elected to use that True Shot Barrage very aggressively, as we saw in Game 1, so we'll have to see if he goes for that again. Obviously, a little more sustained in the bottom lane this time around with the Nami paired with this Ashe, but there's still going to be kill pressure there if Tujane goes aggressive.
Yeah, and Tujane, we saw him pop off on the Ezreal Game 1. Coming into Game 2, you're back on the Ezreal. You're 1 up against Asian Imports. You are in your peak right now. I mean, you are just feeling it. And Tujane, he is trying to display his skill as much as possible.
Yeah, and Rengar is just snuck up in this bot side brush right here. They're looking to tower dive this bot lane.
This is going to be huge. He has the ultimate available. They can go for the dive here, but that's actually the bubble for Spiky. They're going to go let a lot of damage onto E-Boy Whisper. There's the Sting United. Kenazito's going to have to run. Laser over the wall is going to get some good damage onto Spiky. Has to back away. Chad Jungle wants in. Flashes in. Kenazito's still going to survive. Could try and trade back, but half Sam's going to get the kill. That's another onto Spiky for Chad Jungle. E-Boy Whisper is low. Bear King wants to get in here, but it's a 1v4. He's not going to be able to affect this fight, and that's 2 kills there for Fruitling, and they will get a couple of tower plates out of it as well.
Yeah, Fruitling, they still have their foot on the gas.
Ooh, the last spark.
Very close.
Nearly hitting E-Boy Whisperer there. This is 2 games in a row that we've seen an early 5-man party from Fruitling in the bottom lane, and it has worked out both times.
Yeah, I was about to say, they're not even losing anything on the top lane. That's just a Sion trying his best to get up to the tower. Soon to start whacking away at that, but still, like 4 plates up, while on the bot lane, you're looking to put the finishing touches.
Halfsim stepping forward aggressively. Bear King is going to be content to trade with this because he knows the bot lane is fairly low. So Fruitling's going to have to back away at this point. And now Asian Imports just trying to get back anything they can. You mentioned the Sion pushing up to the tower. Wacky Strawberry at least going to knock down, I think, a single plate up there. Maybe 2. That tower is so small on my screen, but I believe he knocked down 2 tower plates topside. So getting some gold back in the pockets of Asian Imports as they're down 2,500 gold. Shout out to our friend Orion. Observer there. 2 tower plates down.
That's his arm.
Giving us a wave over from the observer booth over there, but again, so much early priority from Fruitling towards this bot lane. They know that they can exploit Asian Imports bot.
Oh, they're looking to exploit it a little more. Spiky's in trouble. There's the True Shot Barrage, and Tujane will grab the kill. Flashes in aggressively. The Q will knock Kenazito low, but the pots will keep him alive, and Tujane will elect to go further on to the tower. The kitty cat whacking away. Here comes Bear King, though. Looking to trade back. That's the shutdown. That's huge for Bear King. They're going to get 1 more there as well. Kenazito gets the kill onto Tujane. That's actually a huge gold swing for Asian Imports. Now still down about 2,500 gold, but still, that money onto Bear King and Kenazito is important. Now they're looking for the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, finally, Asian Imports, they get on the board. They execute a nice gank. I would say punishing Fruitling for just staying a little bit too long. And now this Cloud Drake as well going over for the side of Asian Imports, and it doesn't look like we're going to see a contest.
Yeah, Bear King doing a great job counter ganking there. Fruitling's jungle and AD carry stayed so long trying to pick up another turret plate, and they got punished really hard for it. Great play from Asian Imports, and that's the kind of proactivity we need to see from them in this series. It's so hard to come back once you fall down in momentum in this series. Like dropping Game 1, it's hard for Asian Imports to come back like that, but they did such a good job here, and they're showing that they're not afraid to take the fight to Fruitling.
One thing I want to note on the objective priority between these 2 teams. This is 2 games in a row now that Asian Imports has secured the first Drake, and they actually got the first 2 in game number 1. Asian Imports has also not gotten a single tower yet in the series. Granted, we're only at the start of game number 2, and Fruitling has yet to grab one of their own, but that was an 11-0 tower game in game 1 for Fruitling. They dominated the map, and Asian Imports really never had a foothold on Summoner's Rift in terms of vision and just space to maneuver around the map. So Asian Imports is going to look to get their first tower of the series in this game, and it will go a long way to enabling them to try and get back into this series. But Fruitlink still playing aggressively bot lane, and here comes Chat Jungle. Looking for the bottom lane once more.
Yeah, just to secure that bottom lane tower. It looks like it is going to go in favor of Fruitlinks for the moment. Yep, that's the back off coming in. Oh, here we go.
Still getting on a Kenazito. That's going to be the bubble. It will miss onto Chat Jungle, but the arrow will. Oh, the true shot barrage nearly finishing
HP.
Kenazito there. We have to note that that was the enchanted crystal arrow to the face, keeping Chat Jungle from finishing off that kill himself. So Kenazito surviving barely there, and that's first tower going over to Fruitling once more in the bot lane. Morshoes has roamed down here to try and clear out this wave and prevent any further push. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Bon Voyage
Oh, man.
trying to push onto this tower.
Yeah, just knocking on that tower.
Oh,
That's gonna
don't
be
do it,
more.
Morshoes. Uh-oh, that's going to be the jump, but that is the lockdown. They're actually trying to take him down. Do they have the burst? Stand United comes through. The tidal wave will knock him up. Morshoes, you've got to run. Getting out some good AoE damage. There's the jump, and Chat Jungle will finish it with the bola. Half Sam under tower is going to go down to the tower shot, so that's one traded back for Spiky. Chat Jungle's in trouble, trying to run away. He's going to get slowed, but that's the lockdown from the rest of the team. Wacky Strawberry cannot chase down the kitty cat, and Tujane will continue to throw out some poke, but that's still one kill back in favor of Asian Imports.
Absolutely, but a 2-for-1 trade in between the Tier 2 and Tier 3 tower. I think you're going to take it as Fruitling, and if that's a testament to this game.
Oh, Wacky Strawberry, you're in big trouble. You're a tanky boy, but you aren't going to stand up to that laser of Bon Voyage as he roamed down to bot lane to pair up with the jungler in the bottom lane here. Once more, health bars are high. Oh, just juked out by Wacky Strawberry. Good communication there from the bot lane to let him know that that missile was coming right for him. He's able to step out of the way and not give another kill to Tujane. Chad Jungle going to back away with E-Boy Whisper.
Fruitling pushing up to the Tier 2, even diving the Tier 2 turret to pick up kills there. They're showing no fear going forward here, and now they're going to be able to push up towards the mid lane. They have all the bot lane priority they could want, and now they're going to get the mid lane turret, or get some plates on the mid lane turret rather, and get some priority towards potentially the Rift Herald as they get that mid lane pressure.
Absolutely. Nice snare. That's just going to be the flash, but now over the wall.
Bon Voyage. He's actually going to escape from the E. Are you kidding me? He's still alive. Bear King going to get the kill on a Chat Jungle, and they will finish that one off. Spiky actually able to grab the kill on a Bon Voyage, so that's a huge 2 kills for Asian Imports. Looking to go to the top side. Bear King maybe wants to get on a half Sam here.
Just straight up walks up.
Taunt away will buy half Sam some space.
Oh,
He's going to look to trade. He's going to get knocked up here. Do they go for the dive? This is risky. Redemption coming through. Going to heal half Sam up a little bit.
Wow.
Wacky Strawberry going to try and take the tower as long as he can, but here comes E-Boy Whisper. He isn't going to arrive soon enough to keep the Shen alive. Bear King going to escape. No, the banana of destiny from E-Boy Whisper. It's not a banana on that skin, but I do not care. That's the kill for the Soraka.
It's a scrambled play coming out from both sides. That is going to be the pause coming in, and let's just digest this game for a moment, because I thought it was going so much in the favor of Fruitlings, but we are seeing good responses coming out from Asian Imports. I think a lot of the goodness that we're seeing coming out of Asian Esports, Asian Imports, does come in the context of, oh, it's Fruitling. They're playing a little overconfident.
I think they definitely are. I mean, they're trying to take advantage of best they can. We're still seeing Fruitling dictate the pace, but it seems like Asian Imports is starting to kind of settle into this counter-punching mentality, and they're finding openings to get some kills and get some gold.
Yeah, I definitely think that Fruitling is playing a bit cocky right now. They're going a bit too hard on plays. I mean, you saw they dove a Tier 2 turret earlier. They're going way over eager on these plays that they don't really need to. And there's really good punish coming in from Asian Imports now, and they're actually clawing their way back in this game after they were behind much more. You remember the early game, Chad Jungle was just tearing over the entire game, and now we've actually seen Bear King get a couple kills to his name. He's back in the game now, despite being out of it earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Bear King not being intimidated, but as a whole, for Asian Imports, I think these kills mean a lot. You still look at their team composition, and I think you have some shining lights. You could play towards this 5v5 that I think they have decided to, draft towards. They do have quite a fierce one to work with, but I mean, overall, I think coming from right out the gates, we saw the lanes. They weren't doing so hot for the side of Asian Imports. I thought that with the Ashe, for example, you would come with a lot of good base damages, and you would be able to sort of harass the Ezreal down, but that was not the case. Actually, down 20 CS like we saw.
Yeah, exactly. Ezreal and Soraka did such a good job in lane here. Ezreal able to get healed up from all the volley damage, the Soraka keeping him topped off the entire time, and as well as the bot lane priority, the 5-man dive early just made sure that CS lead was going to stay in the bot lane.
And actually, I'm just going to say, before we get right back into the game, I mean, it's the double globals coming out for the side of Fruitling, and I think they're playing it perfectly. They're trying to make these plays on dedicated sides of the map. They're using the Stand United quite well, going for these overextended dives that I think Asian Imports are not ready for. We just saw a random kill. That's just Chad Jungle.
Morshu's just getting deleted by Chad Jungle as he dives aggressively under the tier 1 tower in mid lane, and that's going to be the Lux going down. Morshu's not with as great of a start as we saw last game. 0-2-3 score and down 20 CS at this point, which will continue to grow as now the Vel'Koz is in a side lane, looking to pressure on the top side. But the Lux, it does have the pick potential and can be a huge effect in these team fights. That cooldown on the final spark gets so low as you level up, and if you can get the semi-resets on it with the kills. So there definitely is more room for Morshu's to affect this game, but the start has not been ideal for the Asian Imports mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, Morshu's typically is played around by his team, but here it was more Fruitling playing around their mid laner. They were trying to play around Bomb Voyage and get him ahead.
Bear King in trouble here, going aggressively onto Chat Jungle, but the Stand United will join up with the Rengar, and down goes Bear King. The rest of the team, though, looking to come in. They've caught out Half Sam momentarily. Redemption going to come through. Here comes the freight train of a Scion, and down goes E-Boy Whisper. Asian Imports looking for more. They're looking to take down Half Sam. That's a kill for Kenazito. Poke over the wall. Tujane going to get a return kill as down goes Spiky. And here comes the bottom lane. There's the laser for the turn back. That's the double for the Ashe. That's another there for Morshu's. Chad Jungle. He got the double kill, and the Rengar has not left the fight. Wacky Strawberry, can he finish this? Get the scream, my man. Get the axe. That's the shutdown for Wacky Strawberry. That is an ace for Asian Imports. A 5-for-3 trade in favor of the Central team.
And if you're Asian Imports, you definitely take that trade. Going slightly above in that trade where you're down in gold is perfectly fine. You have a bit of priority on this dragon. I don't know if they're going to be able to secure it. It looks like the side of Fruitlings, they want to contest.
Tujane's here with Half Sam. That's going to be the aggressive charge in from Bear King. He doesn't have the support of Wacky Strawberry, though, and that's going to be the easy kill there for Half Sam. Now they're looking to possibly chase down the Scion here. Support is on its way, but will it arrive soon enough? Tujane getting the burst out. Here comes the heal from Spiky. Can he keep Wacky Strawberry alive?
Nice
Good bubble onto
bubble.
Tujane. Will guarantee that Wacky Strawberry should be able to escape. Maybe looking for more, looking for the slow there. That's the arcane shift away for Tujane, and he will survive there. Morshu's not going to land the snare here. Fruitling staying for more, possibly looking for further aggression.
I think just trying to take over the map at this point. We have to remember the context. Fruitling, they still have priority on the map as a whole. They have the better 5v5 just due to their lead at the moment, and now they're pushing into this bot. You can expect that dragon to be going in their favor as well.
Yeah, despite Fruitling having the better 5v5, Asian Imports won that last team fight through just exceptional play from Wacky Strawberry and Morshu's on the back end of it. They landed roots onto people. Wacky Strawberry got the huge knock-up coming in from the decimating smash, and that just led to Fruitling getting aced in their own in their own side of the jungle, despite having a massive gold lead.
Field goal.
Oh, and the enchanted crystal arrow goes right between the uprights. Not going to land there for Kenazito, but I do want to give credit where credit is due, especially in that last fight. I think Kenazito is really starting to settle into the series, and I think his positioning was good. He's just sitting on one item with the Blade of the Ruined King, but doing some work getting out the damage as well as the slow. So I like Kenazito starting to settle into this series, and on the Ashe, seems like he may have found a pick to get things going for Asian Imports.
Yeah, Bomb Voyage is going to need to get out of there. We have the top end jungle from Asian Imports roaming down on him right now, and that's a cocky play coming back to bite him again.
That's going to be the ultimate from the Scion. Is going to land here. They're trying to take down Bomb Voyage. The heal will come out. Is it going to be enough? He's still alive. Are you kidding? Bomb Voyage will escape. Not for long, though. Morshu's will finish it off with the final spark, but Tujane able to trade back onto the Lux and get the kill. 1 for 1.
Oh
Both
my
mid
God.
laners are down.
Chad Jungle
under the tower. He's going to get taken out by Bear King, so that's the shutdown there. But still, the bot lane is dead. 3 for 2 so far in favor of Fruitling. Bot lane may have to back away, but Half Sam is pressuring top side, and Fruitling, with the continued aggression, are continuing to win out in these fights.
And Chad, this is such a fitting name for the guy too. The guy just goes in 1v3, tries to make some magic happen. Sure, goes to an even trade, but either way, like him trading gold, but getting more gold into his own pocket, I think that just gives him more agency in the game, and that's not what you want if you are Asian Imports. You can feel the pressure being exerted from the side of Fruitling. They're going wild here.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about Chad Jungle. His build is even Chad. He sold his jungle items so he could buy more lethality.
He did.
He wants to do as much damage as possible, and he's doing it right now. He's not afraid to dive in by himself under a tier 2 turret. He just went right on, got himself a double kill, and sure, traded his life, but that's a 1 for 2. And overall, as a 2 for 3 for Fruitling, you gotta take that. That was beautiful.
Hey, any gold into Chad's pocket, that's a good trade.
Full on Chad mode here for the Rengar. 9, 4, and 3 so far. Sitting on 2.5 items here. Now looking for the Mountain Drake.
Alright.
We're going to secure some vision control here with the control ward. E-Boy Whisperer, with the help of Bomb Voyage, will ensure that this Drake will go in favor, but here comes the train, as well as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. It's going to land on the E-Boy Whisper. Can they take down the Soraka, the Silent? He's stood for so long, and that's the tidal wave. Will get the double kill for Wacky Strawberry, as Bomb Voyage is already dead. 2 for 0 for Asian Imports. Now they're looking for more.
And I mean, we just seen Asian Imports go run wild with another team fight in the exact same fashion they won the first. They get a pick, they start to snowball this
Chad Jungle looking for the flank. Here comes the push. They're 5-manning onto this mid lane tower. True Shot Barrage will get some damage. They're going to take down this tower, but when does Chad Jungle show his face? Tujin able to rock Arcane Shift away from the axe. If I'm Asian Imports, you need to stay together. Stay as close as possible, and you need to have the quick turn onto the Rengar. Warshoes, you do not stray away from that tank. Chad Jungle is going to proxy the wave and slow down the push here from Asian Imports. They're staying together. Now they're trying to get on to Chad Jungle. Flashing away. Aggressive flash from Bear King. They want this kill, but the ult will get the Rengar away. He is a very speedy kitty. He's actually going to turn around and just burst down the Xin Sao. Chad Jungle with his 10th kill. And there's the redemption. Going to spot some members out, stops him back. Spiky, do not go there. Chad Jungle once more. He's going to jump right out and eat some fish for dinner. Spiky drops the Chad Jungle into the double digits. Double ones here as they're looking to push mid.
Yeah, and you remember that fight started off of Asian Imports finding great picks. They have the comp to do this. They have the Lux and the Ashe, and they got 2 kills at the beginning of it. And then Chad Jungle turns it around for the entire team with that flank. Beautiful play coming in from him.
And this guy just changes the context of the game so much. It's like when you find a Smurf in your solo queue games and he just runs wild on the Rengar. Anytime you leave your team, you are at risk of Chad Jungle's knives.
I mean, he is just slicing apart this Asian Imports lineup. 11, 4, and 3 now. Would love to take a peek at his gold. I'm curious to just see how much he's sitting. He's sitting on 2,000 gold right now, and he's already got the T-Mat and the Serrated Dirk. So we're going to see another finished item from Chad Jungle when he comes back onto the Rift here. He's going to clear out a couple more camps here before going to base, and this is a terrifying Rengar.
What's even scarier is that next item that's going to come in for him is going to be that Edge of Night.
Yes.
And that one is going to give him a spell shield. He's going to be able to block an Ashe ult or a Lux Binding. That's going to provide him with even more access to just pop off in these fights. He's not going to be able to get CC'd and locked down.
And the more things change, the more they stay the same. It feels like it was just yesterday. I saw Chad Jungle with a 3.5K gold lead. Actually, it was an hour ago.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. It was last game. And
Really?
Chad Jungle, the consistency, because he reached there again. Here we go, though.
We're going to see more as Chad Jungle's coming back from base, has the Edge of Night coming, but the fight has already been started by Asian Imports, but they aren't able to lock any of the members down. Good disengage from Fruitling to escape from the aggression of Asian Imports.
I will say that just blows the flash away from E-Boy Whisper, so potentially another
Tenacito Tujane pops the Ashe, and that's no 80 carry for Asian Imports as here comes Fruitling. They want to push down mid lane. They want to get after this first inhibitor.
Yeah, they have the Shen split pushing. He can always join with the Stand United, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Fruitling turn their attention towards this Baron pretty soon. But Chad Jungle is just in his own side of the jungle right now. He's not even with the team, and they're still pushing up on these turrets. They say they don't even need their most fed member. They're just going to go in on this 3v4.
Huge bounty on the head of the cat here. Chad Jungle just wreaking havoc on Summoner's Rift. He's got double buffs. Ultimate available, sitting at level 14. That's a 3-level lead over Bear King right now. I mean, he doesn't even have a jungle item. He doesn't even care. He just wants to delete some fools, and he's looking for blood here. Paired up with his team, going to jump over into the base onto Bear King. He's going to get collapsed on, but able to still secure the kill. But he's actually going to go down here, possibly staying united, keeps him alive for now. Running under tower, he's going to get slowed, jumps away to the minion wave. Final spark will miss it, locks down Boy Whisperer, but still Kenazito going to go down to the damage of Tujane. Wacky Strawberry drops the Bomb Voyage, and Fruitling looking to break the base. Tujane is just in here with Half Sam, looking to delete some members of Asian Imports. That is 3 dead. Now they're going to take the inhibitor. Do they stay in the base? They can rotate to top side. The minion wave is pushed up onto the tower. They are going to go for it here. They're looking to continue to bust open the base. We have to mention Asian Imports did get their first tower with that mid lane. I want to make sure they get credit for that. As Spiky gonna go down here, most likely. Flash Tidal Wave will keep him alive, actually.
And Asian Imports, they are just staying on barely by the skin of their teeth, but this might just be the straw that breaks the camel's back. You saw that last fight. Chad Jungle going into a preposterous team fight, first of all, but making it out alive as well and getting so much attention from More Shoes, even like just making it out alive, setting the team fight up for his team, and they just take as much as they want at this point.
Yeah, Chad Jungle, he knows nothing other than Chad play. He keeps going in and getting out just barely by the skin of his teeth. And here's the thing, is Fruitling just got 2 inhibitors without even getting a Baron buff. Baron's on the table now, and they're going to be able to just pop everything else they want on the map right now. If they can get that Baron, there's nothing Asian Imports can do to stop them. And Chad Jungle just goes right back in.
Geez.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
No space on the Rift for Asian Imports. Nowhere is safe from Chad Jungle. And we have to mention, you talk about getting those inhibitors without the Baron buff. This is probably going to be one of the latest first Barons we've seen this entire season. As we mentioned earlier, traditionally taken between that 20 to 23 minute mark to really accelerate the game. And even if a team isn't necessarily ahead, a lot of teams are content to meet at the Baron to team fight for it. So Fruitling going to look to take it here at about the 27 minute mark, and Asian Imports really in no position to contest this.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they didn't go for it earlier. They had the Mountain Drake since earlier in the game. Now just picking up the Infernal, they're going to have the extra damage, but usually, especially when a team picks up the Mountain Drake, they go for the Baron play earlier, but here, just not even opting to go for it, trying to bait Asian Imports towards that side right now.
Yeah, and they have the space to do this as well. Like we've said, this entire game, you have the Shen split pushing. He's been knocking down towers left and right, 8-1 into towers. And here it is. The Baron started with no response coming out from Asian Imports. How can they when their base is in shambles?
Yeah. Every lane's pushed in. There's no chance for Asian Imports to even get wards out in their jungle, not even to mention the river. So there was no real chance of a steal coming in, even from a final spark towards that Baron. And now we're trying to look to see Fruitling maybe close out the game with this last Baron buff.
And I gotta set this up. The one chance that Asian Imports have is if they use their pick potential. Here
And
comes
if nobody dies to the Rengar, Chad Jungle charging to the bot lane. He is on the hunt. He wants some blood. More Shoes backing under the the Nexus towers. Chad Jungle forced to come out of stealth, so doesn't have the ultimate available. So Asian Imports will at least see him coming, but Wacky Strawberry eating so much poke, and Chad Jungle going to secure another kill there onto the side. Here comes the response as the tidal wave from Spiky will buy a little bit of space there for Asian Imports. They're just trying to wave clear, but it's so hard. You've got 3 waves surging into the base, empowered by the Baron buff, and Chad Jungle, the cat running around, flashes in, takes down the support, and possibly looking for more. Bear King going to get onto Chad Jungle. Final spark will finish it off, so there's some room here as the shutdown comes through for More Shoes. But here comes Tujane stepping forward, able to flash away, surviving thanks to the sustain of Boy Whisper, and Fruitling will force Asian Imports to the brink. That's a 2-0 lead for the Western champions.
And Fruitling's just putting on a fantastic performance. Again, another dominating game off the back of Chad Jungle. What can't we say about this guy? He just comes in, picks whatever he wants, gets ahead, and just snowballs out of control. You saw that last team fight, absolutely deleting members of the side of Asian Imports.
Yeah. He's showing that he has no fear. He's going in all the time. And even though there were some missteps from Fruitling this game, they made some mistakes, and Asian Imports punished them really well. As the game kept going on, Chad Jungle kept getting more gold in his pocket, and he was just able to delete people as the fights went on. Even just 1v2 or 1v3, able to come out, get out alive, know his limits, and get everything in as well as he could.
And I really hope the wheel of Destiny does not land on adaptation, because I have nothing to say for Asian imports at this point. They put all of their eggs into the Chad Jungle basket, and it just didn't work out for them. He got his pick, Kha'Zix or Rengar. He decided to go with the Rengar, but it's a similar performance coming in for Chad Jungle.
Big performance from the jungler there. Fruitling takes the 2-0 lead and now sit at match point as we head towards Game 3. A tall task here as Asian Imports will need the reverse sweep if they do want to take the victory here in the Season 2 finals. We're going to head to a short break, folks. Don't touch those keyboards. We'll be back in just a few.
Activate music mode. This is our moment.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have returned as we get ready for Game 3 of the Season 2 Late Night League Finals. My name is Yeso, joined by my good friends Seal and Switch to break all of the action down. And 2 games in, a 2-0 lead for Fruitling and the E-Boys over Asian Imports. Things looking dire for the Central Region representatives.
I would say so. And while we have seen a lot of members step up for all the members of Fruitling, I mean, we cannot disregard that Chad Jungle is putting on his carry pants at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely cementing himself as the best jungler this entire tournament. Because I think that right now we're seeing the best jungle matchup from both the West and the Central regions. Bear King definitely established himself as a good jungler during the other 8 weeks, or the other 7 weeks rather, of this tournament so far. But Chad Jungle is showing today that he's the most dominant jungler we've ever had.
And I think something that we have to state too, because I mentioned Morshoes a lot earlier as kind of my front-running candidate for MVP, and it really seems like Chad Jungle trying to put his stamp on this series as well as this season and trying to kind of step forward as like, I am the dominant player. I can take over a game more than anybody else. And I would have to say, I mean, just with the performance in these 2 games, as well as the body of work we've seen throughout this season, Chad Jungle has really taken over that conversation in my mind and has really stepped forward as, I mean, just the most dominant player we've seen this season.
Yeah, absolutely. The most dominant player that we've seen. Which is words can't really describe how much control he has in the game. We saw him going for some overambitious plays, but the more he gets gold into his pocket, it seems like the more he thrives.
Yeah, 100% agree, but I don't want to get like the narrative going that it's just Chad Jungle on the side of Freeling and the E-Boys. Tierje in the bot lane has been phenomenal today. E-Boy Whisper has been a great support. Their duo in the bot lane has been so good. They've been able to just tear over Asian Imports every single game so far. And Bon Voyage has held his own in the mid lane against Morshoes, who you said was your MVP candidate heading into today's series. So props to the entire team of Freeling and the E-Boys. They played so well against Asian Imports today.
It's interesting to look at this matchup, and we've seen a few games between these teams throughout the season, and talking earlier about the heavy scrim schedule between the two, especially in the latter half of the season, and Asian Imports slowly kind of finding ways back into games, but it felt like Fruitling has really just played at another level today. They've really stepped up. Everybody is performing, and I think it is important to distinguish that while Chad Jungle is having a performance of the season here, for sure, Tujane deserves a ton of credit. I think he has really put on a clinic and really shown some of the best Ezreal play and some of the best AD carry play we've seen all season, looking extremely impressive there and dominating in the bottom lane. And I think creating a lot of room for Chad Jungle to thrive, right? Because if it's just the jungler, that focus narrows so much. And if that's just a one-threat team composition, the way back in is a lot more simple and straightforward and easier for Asian Imports to execute on. But when you still have Tujane on the side just throwing out beautiful skill shots all over the place and deleting people off of the map, you have to respect more people. And it just, the eyes and the hands are all over the place. And really Asian Imports can't seem to, whack all of the moles every time, Chad Jungle pops up over here. You hit him, but Tujane's over there throwing true shot barrages, and it hasn't been enough.
I mean, absolutely. And that does come down to it sometimes in tournament play. Whoever shows up on the day, the better team that shows up on the day, they are going to look dominant sometimes. And while you can say, okay, Fruitlings, they look insanely good right now, maybe Asian Imports, maybe they need to get their footing, right? Maybe they haven't been given the chances. I think we saw some small silver linings in the side of Asian Imports last game. I mean, they seem to work well with the pick composition. They seem to work well with the Ashe, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, with that proactivity for themselves and run through a team fight, but they just weren't given that many options, and a lot of it's due to Chad.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think that if we want to see some adaptation coming from Asian Imports, they need to look to get themselves an even safer pick in the bot lane. Maybe pick themselves up the Ezreal this game, give them that ability to arcane shift away, give them the ability to, get a safer support, maybe something like a Janna, where you can get some really good disengage and stop the all-ins coming in. There was a 5-man bot lane by 9 minutes last game coming in from
both games.
Yeah, both
first
games.
2 games.
Yeah, both games they sent a lot of people bot, and I think that we need to see some added safety coming towards Asian Imports bot lane if we want to see them have some success in the final, or maybe not the final match, but game 3 of the match.
But possibly the final game here, because they are on match point. Fruitling has the 2-0 lead. They have the opportunity to close out an impressive 3-0 win and secure the championship here. So really, Asian Imports need a win here, and they need the reverse sweep to win. But if you're Asian Imports, you can't win 3 games at once. You need to just focus on this next one, reset. You need to put those first two games out of your mind, take what you've learned from them, the adjustments that maybe you want to make in Champion Select, and use them in game 3. But you need to just focus on resetting mentally here. Come out, and you've as you mentioned, Switch, there have been silver linings here, and there are opportunities if they can keep that bot lane safe, get Bear King and more shoes moving. Asian Imports has the players to do this, but they need to execute, and they need this next game or their season's over.
And it's a huge amount of pressure. I mean, coming in, you need to treat this, like you said, 3 best of ones, right? Sure, you can look at it and say, wow, we need to win 3 games in a row. You can't look at it like that on paper. Of course, you have to find your footing, and I think this is the game to do it. Game 2, in terms of the pick and ban, we didn't see too much shake up. Sure, we saw Asian Imports fall back on a bit more of their comfort. We saw a little attention put towards Chad Jungle in terms of the ban phase coming out for Asian Imports. But at the same time, it sort of ended up the same way, right? I would love to see a much bigger shake up in terms of the pick and ban phase and just see Asian Imports try and grab whatever they can, try and find whatever their strength can be this series, and try and claw back into the game.
Yeah, and once we get into game, I want to see some more punish on some of the cocky plays that we've seen coming in from Fruitling and the E-Boys. Because Asian Imports has shown the ability to turn out those punishments, but I want to see that continue into the mid game and the late game. And we might be able to see Asian Imports pick up a win if they can continue to do that.
It's going to be a tall task here, but we are into champion select here for game number 3. Fruitling with the 2-0 lead have selected blue side here and continued focus to the mid jungle duo there. Vlad, Nivea, and the Master Yi taken off of the board, and we're going to see once more the Nautilus versus the Shen here. Asian Imports grabbing that stand united for themselves, looking to hopefully get some of that safety and that global mobility with their team.
Yeah, and right off the bat, I love the adaptations coming in. First of all, take the Ezreal off the board. The E-Boy Whisper has looked way too dominant on it, and take that Shen for yourself. Maybe protect your bot lane. And Urgot and Lee Sin for Chad Jungle. That is an explosive pick.
Yeah, Urgot, we've seen Bear King pick this up earlier in the split. He has really interesting ganks in the way that he goes about it, because you don't have to actually be right next to them in lane. You can just shoot out the Fear Beyond Death and hope it lands, and if they're low, you will get the kill. So Urgot, really a different style of jungler than pretty much all the other picks we've seen coming in from Bear King. Sure, it's still spikes at level 6, but you can fight early. You can look to gank early.
One adaptation here we've seen from Asian Imports is the shift away from focusing on Chad Jungle in the ban phase. No jungle bans thrown at him this time around, instead electing to swap over to take the Ezreal away from Tujane, which I think is a great adaptation here, as he has been that second threat for Fruitling, as well as banning away the Vel'Koz. Bon Voyage's comfort pick he's gone to the last 2 games that has been very good in the team fights, and continuing to ban away. So this is what we talked about after game 1, is that possible focus towards Bon Voyage to maybe give more shoes the room to try and dominate the mid lane matchup, because it really just seems like whatever you put Chad Jungle on, like, he's got the opportunity to dominate. So just let him take what he is going to take and try to find a foothold elsewhere on the map. The Aatrox into the Cho'Gath could be an interesting one.
Yeah, I love the Sivir pickup coming from Kenazito. We talked about getting him on a utility AD carry pick, and Sivir also has the safety of the spell shield, and now with a Braum has a much safer laning phase. So that's much better to put Kenazito on a matchup where he's not going to have to rely on getting really up in their face. But against that Kate Thresh bot lane, there's so much all-in potential there. That's really a scary bot lane face.
At the same time, I think if there were ever a teamfight competition to take control of the game for Asian Imports, I think this is the one. You have tons of tools at your disposal here. Braum, Sivir, Aatrox, they're all really good at team fighting. Of course, we did see a lot of shakeups that I want to see from Asian Imports. You have the Shen in the top lane, and that's going to cover your bot lane. Make sure they have a good laning phase. Sivir, I think it's a fantastic lane into the Caitlyn. You can absorb those traps with the spell shield, or you could stand the minion wave. When Caitlyn wants to shove with that Piltover Peacemaker, you get a free mana pot.
One thing we have to, or a couple things we have to note here. One, a heavy AD composition from Asian Imports. There is a severe lack of magic damage for them outside of the Shen-empowered auto attacks on his Q, as well as some damage from Braum. So really just heavy AD there, which makes the tank builds just that much more efficient for the side of Fruitling, as the Nautilus can just itemize so heavily into the armor and become near unkillable in the late game, as well as we see the shift in the bottom lane for Fruitling. Tujane's back to the support. So really, as we talked about earlier, more pick dependent here. As the Ezreal's banned away, they elect to go with the Caitlyn, give it to E-Boy Whisperer in the AD carry role this time around into Kenazito. So some big changes here, and Asian Imports, I like what they've gone with here. I'm a little terrified of the heavy AD composition because as that starts to scale up, you can be big threats, but it just means half Sam is going to be nigh unkillable in this game.
Yeah, 100% I agree. Always picking that heavy AD comp is pretty scary, but at least they have the Urgot. Once they get down to that low health threshold, it's going to be an execute no matter what. They don't have to worry about doing the rest of that 25% of their HP bar. But another thing I want to talk about was the adaptation of banning away the Vel'Koz from Bon Voyage. Here, they put him on a Cho'Gath. So I'm not sure if we're going to see more of a tanky build come out of the Cho'Gath or something like a full AP, but they have the option to go tank and just, again, itemize heavily against that full AD comp, build full armor on the Cho'Gath, stack that up, and it's going to be nigh unkillable.
And, I mean, while we've been trying to decipher the approach coming in for the side of Asian imports, on the other hand, though, we have a sort of pick and ban phase that's clear as day for the side of Fruitlings. I mean, they start off first pick phase, just blind picking that Lee Sin because they want the early damage. The Caitlyn as well in the bot lane. I think they really want to run over this game, make a final, quick third game of this series, and wrap it up and take it home.
Now, Caitlyn, when you're picking that champ, you're looking to dominate the laning phase, take turret place early, and as soon as you take that first turret, rotate up to the top turret and do the same thing up there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of attention from Chad Jungle towards this bot lane. Again, getting them ahead. And with the Lee Sin, you have so much ability to do that in the early game.
All right, well, we'll find out how it shakes out very soon. Game number 3 of the Season 2 Grand Final coming to you in just a few minutes.
And the phase rush to get on another. Oh, flashes and goes for an attention right gaze and gets 2 people down. He's going for the 1v3, looking for one more. Let's see if he can do it. Let's to see if he can get another kill for himself. There it is. He's looking for it. He gets the poison. He gets it. He's unstoppable. One more to go. But gets interrupted by the Talon there. So now it's going to be a 3v4 down here as Jin hasn't been able to take it down. But here comes. Oh, he stole that Inferno Drink! Boom! Able to take that one for himself. But at the cost of his. Ragnarok is going to be coming out. And here comes the Roots to. Oh, the stun! Daddy is back! And he gets a 4-man crescendo. And Titan Gaming are looking to turn this one around. It was a 4v5. A triple. But here it comes. Oh, Stun Daddy maybe in a little bit of trouble, gonna get taunted up, and P-Kai looking to see if they can take advantage of this fight right now. 4v5, not looking good for Titan Gaming at all. Double kill right now, going out for Kai, so looking for a triple, looking to see if she's gonna be able to get one more. No, not gonna get taken down just yet, but he will eventually. Perfect read from Boomba Blood. That is going to be Snowflake maybe taken down here. He's going to be looking for the assault battery play. Oh, so far, Boomba going to be able to get 1. They're going to be able to get 2. They're going to be able to get 3.
Alrighty, guys, we have returned prior to the possible last game of this best of 5, and we've got to take advantage of it. One last spin, possibly, of the Wheel of Destiny.
Potential last spin.
Yeah. Do we have a slice that says, like, I don't know, maybe Asian imports win the game?
Can it land on it? First blood.
Okay.
Okay, so jungle matchup.
Yep.
Something we've highlighted throughout this series. Something we have to pay attention to for first blood. Switch tank it first here. The Lee Sin on one side into... Remind me, it's the Urgot.
That's the Urgot.
Okay,
Yep.
so first blood, talk to me.
You know what? I had to go with my gut here, and I'm going to say it's Chad Jungle. I mean, on the Lee Sin of all picks, that is such a dominant early lane champion. I just think it's going to be Chad Jungle. He has good setups in the top, in the mid, the bot. If you land a hook, that can be pivotal. So I think Chad Jungle, it might just be him.
I actually think we won't see the junglers be involved in this first blood. I think we're going to see a 2v2 kill. There's so much kill pressure coming in from Fruitling's bot lane. Kate Thresh has so much kill potential once they hit that level 2. You get a hook into a trap, and that's so much CC. Nobody's going to be able to survive that on the side of Asian Imports if they get hit. And so I think that's where we're going to see first blood happen.
Okay. I was going to challenge you to give me an answer outside of Chad Jungle. I didn't even have to say it. You already had it ready.
Yeah,
Hot
take.
That's why we got you guys color cast in the finals.
That is a hot take.
All
You're a great
of the
man.
analysis. Wacky Strawberry is going to take the cue there from Chad Jungle, but no Lee Syndrome to start this game off. He will just back away content with the information there. Going back to his blue buff, we'll get the leash from Half Sam. And both junglers will start on their top sides of the map.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about as well is like these are two mid laners who you normally don't see played in the mid lane. These are mostly top lane picks. The Aatrox and the Cho'Gath are rarely ever seen in the mid lane. So they're both melee, so we're not going to have that much wave clear coming in between the two of them. So I'm not sure if that will provide a bit more jungle focus towards the mid lane since they have to be up in that minion wave, but it could definitely happen.
I didn't touch on this either, but Ebo Whisper actually back on the AD carry now, and just the flexibility for Fruitlings, right? You don't get the Ezreal. It's banned out first pick. Okay, fine. Put E-Boy Whisper on an AD carry. Now, he has a completely different champion pool, or we would assume so. Picking the Caitlyn now, and you already saw the intelligent play coming out. 2G now actually predicted the juke. Didn't come out, but here we go.
Am I right?
There's the play into the death sentence. It will actually go wide, and Kenazito looking to trade back. They do have the concussive blows. We'll get the stun onto 2G and then just back away.
I was kind of hoping that the hook was going to land there just so I could be right in my prediction, but
it's looking like I'm getting closer and closer. Come on, Chad, come on.
I don't think it's a bad prediction. I think Fruitling already showing that that's the kind of play that they're looking to make here in the laning phase. So whether it pays off in the first blood or not, I think the focus on the 2v2 aggression is important here as Morshoes stepping forward on the Aatrox, down to the bottom lane. Kenazito taking a lot of damage, burning from the Ignite there of Tujane.
That's already a heal down. So Kenazito burning the heal to stay alive there from the Ignite going on him, but a lot of heavy action in the bot lane. So curious to see if we're going to see any jungle interaction down there too. And Urgot's already here.
Yeah, he is going to get spotted out by the ward. Emoy Whisperer gonna have to run. That's gonna be the landed Winter's Bite here. Tujane could be in trouble, force the flash away. That's gonna be the flash in for Bear King, charging under tower. Gonna get the flip, that's first blood. Bot lane, it's gonna happen. Gonna be a return as Tujane will get the kill onto the Urgot, and Chad Jungle's here as well. Kenazito's in trouble. The teleport coming into Chad Jungle gets Kenazito. Now that's the dredge line and the return kill. Spikey's going down the double for Chad Jungle, and that's a 3-for-1 swing bottom lane for Fruitling.
And the TP from Half Sam just adding insult to injury at this point. Don't even know if it was necessary, but Chad Jungle coming in fashionably on time. And I mean, here we go. 3-1 Fruitlings in the early game.
Yeah, seriously, you can't really do much better than that. You saw such a good counter gank coming in from Chad Jungle, but you know, you could have seen that go even better for the side of Fruitling if E-Boy Whisper had flashed the disdain coming in from the Urgot. But so, this is a game of very, very close inches right here, and they just took a mile.
And I will say, I do still appreciate the aggression coming out of Asian Imports. At the very least, they're giving it their all. Sure, it was an unlucky counter game coming in from Chad Jungle, but you still have many opportunities in this game. It is not over by a long shot.
Oh, the Thresh roaming towards mid lane early.
Morshoes in trouble. Gonna try dash away, but still caught by the death sentence. The knockup from Bomb Voyage will not land. Morshoes flashing away, trying to lock down Tujane. He will eat a tower shot going low. The Lantern will keep him alive there. Morshoes just barely escaping, forced to use the flash in mid lane. And we have to mention, the jungler did affect the bot lane, but first blood still did go to the Sivir. So I'm going to give credit on that one. Good prediction there, Seal.
I'm proud of you, Seal.
See, we were both right. Jungler was involved, and it was bot lane.
Everybody wins.
we both get to be happy. And even Asian Imports are going to be happy about that. They got the first blood.
Oh, yeah. The only one that's not happy, well, yeah, I guess so. I guess Asian Imports are happy. They're not sad, but I don't know if they're happy.
I think they're hurting after giving up 3 kills, but...
Well, either way, I mean, Chad Jungle 2-0 lead. So does this change the context of the game? Not in the top lane. They're just going to keep, you know, having at it, just slapping each other on the wrist every now and again. But for the most part, you still have that utility of the Stand United if you are the side of Asian Imports. And I think it's a valuable tool to stop this pressure coming in from Fruitlings onto the bot lane of Asian Imports. I think if you pull off a good Stand Unite, hey, we can even see a play circled around that dragon as well, because you do have priority now that Nautilus has no teleport.
It is another Cloud Drake spawning in, so not the highest priority of Drake. Right. But I feel like we've seen that a lot today, is the Cloud Drake kind of coming in early, and Fruitling has been shown to kind of just prioritize the early turrets instead of going back for the Drake. So they've picked up bot lane kills and just stayed there trying to get the early plates.
It's an interesting discussion because yes, Asian imports, they have been securing these dragons. On the other hand, it almost seems like Fruitling are completely content giving up the dragons because they end these games so early. They value the gold in their pockets from the towers, from the Rift Hurl, much more than these good scaling dragons, yes, and it does affect the power of the Elder Drake if you manage to get it. But if you win the game before it spawns, it doesn't even really matter in the end.
I don't know that the Elder Dragon has ever been a factor in any of these games. They've all ended pre-35 minutes, and even, I can't remember the game time last one, but I even think that was pre-30 minutes. So
Yeah,
really,
it was.
Fruitling just seems to recognize that we're just going to take all of the gold on the map we can get. You take all the Drakes you need. We are just going to build so much of a lead that will never really be an issue. And Chad Jungle looking for Bear King here. He's going to get the support of More Shoes, and they can try and turn this around on the Chad Jungle. He flashes away, is going to go in, and the Stand United will not save Bear King. Bomb Voyage going to grab the kill, and now More Shoes is in trouble. He doesn't have his flash thanks to the play earlier in mid lane. He's trying to escape. The ultimate will not keep him alive. Chad Jungle is going to grab the kill. We have to note, I don't know if it was talked about last week, but the changes to Aatrox a few patches ago means that he must get a kill or an assist during the duration of his ultimate, otherwise he does not get the resurrect.
Absolutely, and this version of Aatrox, it does allow a lot more skill expression. And that's why I think we're seeing More Shoes have a good time, but Chad Jungle starts up the skirmish. You saw a nice heads-up play from Bomb Voyage, absolutely executes Bear King, and that stops the Stand United from coming in for the Shen. And I mean, just overall, Fruitlings, they're still flexing as much as they can, and it's working out for them.
Yeah, that flash feast coming in, they pick up the kill right before the Shen can finish the Stand United channel was just a beautiful coming from Bon Voyage. So I really like that play coming in from Fruitling. Usually you saw them playing around more that bot lane earlier, but here they're focusing the mid lane.
And just the respect that you had to give Chad Jungle on Lee Sin. You saw it. Once Bear King caught wind of the Lee Sin coming his way, he absolutely went the other direction. Didn't work out for him in the end, though.
Yeah, and it seems like Chad Jungle on the Lee Sin is 2 steps ahead of everyone. You saw him ward hop the wall before More Shoes even jumped the wall himself. He knew that that was what was going to happen, and it secured them the kill.
Now, possible lane gank set up here. Right, Bear King looking to get something going in the 3v2. Chad Jungle near his Raptor camp, but will not get to bot lane very quickly. So there is an opportunity for Asian imports as More Shoes goes aggressive in mid lane. Bon Voyage is in trouble. He doesn't have flash. Does More Shoes get it? He will get the solo kill in mid lane. And that is just the play that Asian imports needed. Get More Shoes going. This is their big carry. And on the Aatrox, could get something going. Spiky gonna get caught out here. Tujane with the flash flay finish onto the support there.
Tujane, he's on support, but he feels like an 80 carry right now, getting that kill, and what a smart play from him. But still, props to More Shoes in the mid lane, unknowingly, in front of Chad Jungle, of all people. I mean, is this the pivot? Is this when Asian imports turn it back around? I'm not so sure.
Chad Jungle's in big trouble. He knows he's dead, just hits the mastery there, and Bear King gonna finish that kill off to grab the shutdown.
I think I might have just caster cursed him.
Yeah, that was definitely the example of the caster curse. But
I'm sorry.
You were talking about Tujane acting like he was the carry this game. Maybe he was just so used to the last 2 games being the actual AD carry that he's fine taking the 2 kills in the early game. He has a bounty on his head. He's the only player in the game with a bounty right now. But, man, the hooks coming in from this guy, they got a kill in a 2v3. So props to Fruitling's bot lane again for showing up in this tournament.
And I mean, not only did they get a kill in a 2v3, Tujane flashed in essentially 1v3 to fillet and auto Spiky to finish the kill, recognizing that he's flashing right into the face of an Urgot Sivir, and he goes, I'm just going to go secure this. I'll see you guys later.
Just walks away, and I mean, that's the respect that you had to give to Tujane. Like, the guy's so flexible. The whole bot lane for Fruitlings, they are coming off. They definitely showed up this game. There's another flay.
That sentence is going to land, and the wall is not going to save Spiky here that much. He will be able to survive as the Sting United comes through from Wacky Strawberry, but the stand behind me facing the wrong way means Spiky takes that much more damage. Tujane going fairly low again, but still looking to make a play. He recognizes he will gladly sacrifice his life if he can land a key death sentence here and set something up for Chad Jungle. Q is going to miss. But that's still the death sentence on to Spiky. That will be the flay in and the secured kill for Bomb Voyage. And Tujane is able to still walk away. Another kill for Fruitling.
Tujane, I thought he was the god of Ezreal. He might just be the god of skill shot champions in general. Another hook, and that earns him a kill.
See, I was going to say, he should change his name to Chad Support, but he was the Chad 80 carry in the last 2 games, so maybe that's why he hasn't changed his name yet. But man, this guy is showing up today. I love seeing aggressive support that play like this. Reminds me so much of
Stun Daddy.
Stun Daddy, yes. Yep. Stun Daddy in the previous games of the tournament. Such good play coming from him. Tujane with the repeat performance on the Thresh. Love it.
Bear King here going for a bit of an invade, able to take away. Looks like he got the Gromp, but with the blue buff not spawning yet, he won't be able to steal that one away. Kenazito and Spikey going to try and clear out some vision near the bottom lane, possibly give themselves a little bit more safety here. The Cloud Drake's still alive. 12 minutes in, that one has not been taken. Asian Imports has really not found the small foothold that they've gotten in the early game the last 2 games around. They've been able to buy a little bit of room to get those early Drakes, but it hasn't happened yet as Fruitling has continued to dominate this game up 3,000 gold.
And let's take stock as a whole on the distribution of the kills, because we do have Fruitling ahead. I will say though, 2 of those kills onto Tujane. Not sure how much that means. He does play fantastically on this Thresh, but does it bring the damage that you need for this next skirmish that we might see coming in? Not so sure, but either way, you can't go wrong getting some gold onto Chad Jungle as well. 3, 1, and 2. He's up just about a little less than 1,000 gold, but in a 13-minute game, that is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, and Tujane, I want to point out he's almost at the same amount of gold as Kenazito right now. When your support is at the same income as the enemy 80 carry, there's not really much you could do in that scenario. So Fruitling really kind of more dominant in this game. We haven't seen as much back and forth as we saw in the previous games from Asian Imports. And like, you have to rely on kind of those solo plays like we saw the solo kill come in from More Shoes earlier. You have to rely on that this game in order to come back.
You may not be able to rely on it here. Tujane going to get in with the flay into the death sentence. They're going to just collapse onto More Shoes there and take him down. Chad Jungle with another kill. Bear King not near the mid lane soon enough to save More Shoes there. And Tujane can strut down the river feeling confident. He wants more here. Bear King going to be able to sidestep the death sentence, but that Lantern's going to bring in Chad Jungle looking to take down Bear King. That's another kill for the Lee Sin. The bot lane doesn't even show their face, and Kenazito going to be in big trouble here. Caught by the death sentence out of Fog of War.
That's going to start it.
Teleport coming into the bot lane here from Wacky Strawberry. Wants to protect the duo lane here. Oh, it's actually from More Shoes. Okay, so this is the 4v3 as Wacky Strawberry does have Sting United available, but another death sentence there on the Spike. He's going to jump away. More Shoes going to try and lock somebody down. That is going to be Chad Jungle. He's fairly tanky at this point. That's the Sting United coming in. 4v4. That's the on the hunt. They're trying to chase him down, but another death sentence will keep Wacky Strawberry off of the backline. Good knock up in the bunch. Bon Voyage takes down Spiky. Now they're looking for more. Kenazito going to go down to half Sam. That's the ultimate. It will follow you despite the flash. The Dredge line will lock down the Aatrox, and the double kill for the Cho'Gath. This Bon Voyage is going off on the big man.
And that was the most effort I've seen from Asian Imports. They were trying to get that nice 4v4 skirmish, but at the end did not have their jungler there. On the other hand, though, Half Sam, he was in the top lane with TP as well. They win the skirmish. They transition that into a Cloud Drake, and it's getting just all downhill for the side of Asian Imports.
Yeah, the team play coming in from Fruitling has been so good this game. We've seen jungle support roaming together, and when a team starts to do that, it's so hard to make any plays against that. They're able to make the play mid, take down More Shoes, and transition that into a bot lane play where they take 3 more. So much gold going over to the side of Fruitling, as well as the pickup on the turret and the Drake.
We have to notice a shift in play here from the bottom lane from Fruitling, with Tujane moving back to support with the Ezreal band away, and now on the Thresh. We saw a heavy lane-focused style from E-Boy Whisperer, and the rest of the team seemed to play around that, right? They got the early 5-man dives in the first 2 games down to the bottom lane, so it was heavily focused on trying to get Tujane going on the Ezreal, but now with him on the support, it's been, as you mentioned, very roam-heavy. Tujane and Chad Jungle combining to move around the map and build lanes in the other lanes, so this shift has shown up very well. Tujane performing extremely well on the Thresh and continuing to be a threat as he lands another death sentence.
And you could just feel the pressure exert onto this mid lane. This might be a collapse here in the favor of Asian Imports. Just trying to see what they can manage to get, but I mean, More Shoes, he just cannot move a muscle in the forward direction right now. Thresh and Cho'Gath visiting his lane constantly. There's another hook, just barely landing, but nice sidestep from More Shoes, and he has got to watch his feet right now.
Yeah, you can tell Tujane has his eyes set on the prize. He's using the championship Threshkin. He knows what he wants for today. But man, so much skill shots coming from him. Just barely missing their mark on the more shoes, but hitting their marks earlier. And props to Tujane again. Such good play on the Thresh. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Caitlyn getting the bot turret early, rotating up to that top turret. And now it's a 2-0 turret lead coming in for Fruitling.
Half Sam dueling with half of the lineup here of Asian Imports, taking a lot of damage here, but he's still a pretty tanky boy. Bon Voyage on his way. Can he arrive soon enough to save the Nautilus? That's going to be the knock up on it too, but down goes Half Sam. Can they turn this around? Chad Jungle's here as well. Horseshoes does get the resurrect if he goes down here soon. Gonna get knocked up, and he's not gonna get much yet. Bon Voyage knows he gets the resurrect. The ult is down. Now he is vulnerable. Chad Jungle wants to go in, wants to finish up this kill. Wacky Strawberry trying to zone him away. That's a double kill for Chad Jungle. Looking for a triple on the Lee Sin. Now Bear King forced a flash away, but still caught by the Death Sense. Gonna get flayed back, knocked up. The Quadra. Can we see another Chad Jungle pentakill? We won't. Kenazito able to back away, but another big play from Fruitling as they snowball this lead.
And in fitting fashion, too, just off of the back of this clean play coming out, Chad Jungle all started off of Half Sam getting a big caught out, didn't have allies available, but he's so tanky. Bought enough time for the Chad Jungle as well as the Cho'Gath, I believe, to come for the rescue. They make it another positive trade. In true fashion this series, they've just been turning around everything in their favor. Can someone stop this man?
I don't think anyone can stop this man. At least Kenazito is on point with the spell shield there, but really it's going to be difficult for Asian Imports to find a way back into this game. They have to rely on, like you said earlier, they have a good team fight comp. The Urgot can potentially get, if he can get the XQ with the Fear Beyond Death and get that fear off onto multiple members of Fruitling, they have a chance. But there's so much gold in the pockets of Fruitling. They're so far ahead, 10k gold lead by 18 minutes. I don't see a scenario in which they lose this game.
And I love how you touched on the composition coming out for Asian Imports, because you're right, both the jungle and the mid, they just snowball off of one kill that they can manage to get. The Fear Beyond Death for the Urgot, as well as a refresh on your ultimate for the Aatrox. But it's just been so hard because, I mean, I feel like a broken record here. It's Chad Jungle. On this Lee Sin pick, of all things, I think he just completely changed the context of the team fight composition coming in for Asian Imports.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing, I talked about earlier how Tujane was already at almost at same gold parity as Kenazito. He's now ahead of Kenazito by 400 gold. that feels terrible if you're the AD carry and you're down gold to the enemy team support. So it's going to be even more rough for Asian Imports to claw their way back into this one.
It's interesting to look at Tujane here. Switching up to support. The first two games on the Ezreal and performing extremely well. And it's crazy to think that he role swaps now to support midway through the series, and I would say is having his best game in the series now. Yeah. And it's interesting to think that if Chad Jungle maybe had one off game in this series, we'd easily be talking about Tujane as the MVP of this grand final, because he's been playing impeccable throughout the series no matter what he's playing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a fair argument to say this is his best game. On the Ezreal, it was just popping off once we finally got into those team fights, into those skirmishes. Sure, he did have a good lane lead, but in this Thresh game, he's just influencing the game so much, just flipping it upside down at this point. Here comes the siege for Fruitlings.
More death sentences over the wall as Tujane just waiting to go in here. Knows that that tower is so low. The opportunity is there for Fruitling to get the play that could catapult them to a 3-0 victory and a championship. That's another death sentence. Not going to be followed, but Chad Jungle comes over the wall. Now he's going to go in. That's the Sting United to keep the Urgot alive for now. There's another death sentence on a Kenazito. He's going to go down to Chad Jungle. Here comes the rest of the team. Knock up onto Spike. You cannot escape from the Nautilus. And Bon Voyage will grab that kill. Now in onto Morshoes. Dredgeline will lock him down. He's not going to stay alive here. Chad Jungle grabs one more, and Fruitling get the 3-0 fight.
And just clean play coming out of the side of Fruitling. They make sure to engage when they're not under a tower. They're between towers at the moment, and so you can allow these aggressive plays from the Nautilus, from the Thresh. They knock down the right targets, and they're knocking on the mid-lane tower now.
They now have the Rift Herald in the mid lane. E-Boy Whisper sold this out as the AD carry, and they're looking to potentially just march this right down into the base at 21 minutes into the game.
Will we see a dancing Rift Herald? Probably not, but I can dream, right?
Yeah, exactly. And E-Boy Whisper, even though she's not playing support this game, still the support at heart.
That's
no kills to her name. 9 kills, or 9 assists on the Caitlyn already, and even picks up the team, the Rift Herald, to boot. Just
You
true
can't
support
even,
at heart right there.
you can't even be mad. He's about to win the whole finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, E-Boy Whisper, she's been a great performer throughout this series. Not the flashy play that we've seen from Tujane, but just consistent, solid play there in support as well as AD carry, playing on a couple of different picks. And now on the Caitlyn, just doing her job, getting out the DPS, taking down the Rift Herald, securing objectives for Fruitling here. So really nothing to sneeze at here, as E-Boy Whisper has looked very good throughout the series, but it's hard to stand out when you've got the likes of Chat Jungle and Tujane flanking you on the map that are just performing extremely, extremely well.
Yeah, but on the same side, we have a limited amount of resources in League of Legends, and sometimes you need the foundation players, those players that are perfectly fine, you know, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure all the details or the foundation is set up right. And I think E-Boy Whisper, you're right, she's definitely a solid player, and already onto this Baron is Fruitling. And I don't know if we're going to see a contest coming in for Asian Imports.
Yeah, there's no vision anywhere near this Baron pit from Asian Imports. The closest ward they have is in their own jungle, barely, not even at their red buff. So this Baron's going to go down without any of Asian Imports' knowledge. And after that, I don't think they can hold on to Fruitling's siege, because they have the Caitlyn. She's already one of the best siegers in the entire game.
Tujane was just solo frontlining to zone away Asian Imports from the pit. They couldn't even go forward because they kept seeing the Thresh in these brushes around the red buff and were not willing to step forward into the Thresh. Another death sentence there onto Morshoes. No further aggression here, but he is going to actually flank in Spiky. This could be big trouble with the Braum. Going to have to run away. Oh, is going to get caught by the death sentence. The predict there. Spiky will just barely survive this fight. The redemption, E-Boy Whisper going very low, but there's the hook on a Wacky Strawberry. Morshoes trying to take down Chat Jungle. This could be the over-aggression and the turn. Half Sam, though, still able to take down Spiky. They're looking to collapse. Another death sentence over the wall. It's going to catch Morshoes. He's in trouble. The double for Lee Sin. This could be it. Down goes the Aatrox, the Ace, and Fruitling and the E-Boys with a dominant performance in the game. Dominant performance in the series. They will take the 3-0 victory and will be your Season 2 champions in Late Night League. What an impressive performance. Quit stalling it out. Come on. GG. Asian Imports falls. Fruitling with the big win.
25 kills in 24 minutes to secure their third win of the series and their victory in the Grand Finals Late Night League. Fruitling and the E-Boys showing that they are truly the dominant team in this season.
And absolute congratulations to them. I mean, that was a quick series coming out from them. Every single game, they seem to have a very concise and succinct game plan coming in. They just got the ball rolling super early on into the game. Obviously, off the back of Chat Jungle, but we can't forget the rest of the players, right? All of their decision-making, all of their skirmishes, they seem to have a good amount of sense to them. Sure, they went overboard when they had really big leads, but I mean, how can you not when you're just putting on a performance like that? It was just absolute craziness coming out of Fruitling Esports. They take the trophy, they take the winnings as well. Congratulations to them overall.
Yeah, and this last game, probably the cleanest one that they played today. Not really making those missteps we saw from them in the first two games. Kind of just playing it out very cleanly, playing together as a team. And there was really no chance for Asian Imports to come back in that game. So just incredible win for the entire series coming out from Fruitling and the E-Boys. I love seeing play like that. It was awesome.
Absolutely impressive performance by Fruitling, and really seeming to kind of, you talk about maybe picking a scaling composition, they seem to scale up as a team throughout this series, played better and better. Had some of those mistakes early, but they cleaned it up throughout this series. And they're, as you mentioned, their cleanest and most dominant game to close out the day, finishing off an impressive 3-0 victory. 1 point for me on the prediction. Thank you very much. I'm going to take the wins where I can get them from the play-by-play standpoint, but really a dominant season overall from Fruitling. We really saw them just run rampant through the Western region throughout this Season 2 here for Late Night League, and coming in as the heavy favorites and performing I would say as expected. I love that we saw Tujane really get to shine tonight on multiple different picks, and I should say multiple roles, playing both at the 80 carry spot and support. But the rest of the team played well. I thought Bon Voyage was just such a rock in the mid lane throughout this series. The Vel'Koz was good. We were curious about how the Cho'Gath would work out. I think it was honestly probably his best game. Obviously playing behind Chad Jungle on the Lee Sin, who was going in aggressively and buying him so much space, but he played well. Half Sam rotated with the team and set a lot of things up. E-Boy Whisper, as we mentioned, just being another solid rock for the team. And then the stand-up players, Chad Jungle and Tujane, just really putting their mark on this series and this season with their performance in the grand final.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think even though he was kind of quiet as a series, we weren't really highlighting on him, but Half Sam, such a good player at tanks. He did such a good job tanking for the entire team, frontlining and finding these big plays. And you saw it in one of the last engages near the Drake, near the enemy blue buff in that it was probably like 15 minutes into the game or so. He was tanking 3 members as a Nautilus right there and bought enough time for his team to react for them to win up the entire fight, take the Drake, and rotate towards the mid lane.
And, I mean, this is Season 2. This is the end of Season 2, right? If they come into Season 3, I think they have a fantastic lineup to work with as well. We talked about the versatility of the bot lane being able to play both those roles and interchanging. And if they have different 80 carry champion pools or support champion pools, that could be such a benefit. That could be such a tool. We saw in the pick and ban phase, it was so hard to ban out or to deal with all the flexibility coming out from the side of Fruitlings and the E-Boys. And I mean, just overall fantastic play from the... I do want to give merit, though, to Asian Imports, because we can't forget, I mean, they made it all the way to the finals. Sure, it was a very decisive series coming out for the side of Fruitling, but by no means did Asian Import take it lying down. I feel, especially their jungler, came up. Bear King, he did not take it lying down as well. You know, he tried to have as much of an impact on the game as well. More Shoes, another great player that hopefully next season we'll see even more of him play. But you do have some great players as well for the side of Asian Imports.
Yeah, More Shoes finding solo kills in 2 out of our 3 games today against the enemy mid laner. He definitely showed up, but again, it just didn't match the team play that we saw from Fruitling and the E-Boys, and that was where the true distinction was Fruitling had the power in the bot lane. They had the priority down there. The jungle matchup was a bit favored towards the side of Fruitling and the E-Boys, but again, Bear King did a pretty good job for the side of Asian Imports as well. But again, props to all of Asian Imports. They did show up, play a decent series today, but Fruitling, you cannot match them. They played phenomenally and just decisively today.
All right, well, as we look to close out here Season 2 of Late Night League, do want to do a couple of shout-outs before we finish things off here. First of all, to all of the players that participated this season, thank you so much for coming out. It was an absolute blast to watch all of you play and grow and perform throughout this season. Very fun to watch. We hope to see more of you guys, and invite your friends. Get more people in. We would love to see the Late Night League scene grow. It has been a blast to watch all of you, and we look forward to more in the future. To all of our Esports Arena staff at all of our locations across the country, thank you so much for all that you guys have done. Really, you guys were the boots on the ground. You did so much. This league does not run without all of you, so we want to do a big shout out to all of you. Thank you so much for everything that you have done throughout this season. To our casters as well, all my compatriots, XT, Orion in the back, who we saw a little bit this season, Seal and Switch, as well as Sabriel. Thank you guys so much. It's been a blast to work with all of you, and it's certainly been so much fun to watch all of these games and get hype for all of them. To our production crew, who has done so much work, is here just as late as we are, if not later, and I should say later, actually, every broadcast. They are here earlier and later than we are, do so much great work in the back. So to Kathy, Sam, Atlee, Kyle, Natalie, and Dreidel, you guys do a ton of work. You guys kill it on the production, and we certainly appreciate it, as well as to our general manager here in Orange County, Zach, our social media man, Lloyd, doing all the tweets and all that good stuff, and our head honchos, Tyler and Frank. We would just want to thank everybody who has put their heart and soul into Late Night League this season, seasons before and ones in the future. So thank you so much to everybody that put what they did into Late Night League. That's going to be it, guys. Fruitling and the E-Boys with a 3-0 performance, closing out Season 2, an impressive finish. Remember, guys, this isn't it. we've got the rest of all of our weekly seasons coming through the rest of the week. Rocket League tomorrow night. We've got Wednesday night fights on Wednesday, which now includes Mortal Kombat 11, so do not forget that. Our Super Smash Thursdays. And closing out the week with Fortnite Frenzy on Friday. So if League isn't your thing, trust me, we've got more esports coming for you folks. But for myself, Seal, Switch, the entire broadcast crew, and everybody here from Orange County and beyond, we want to thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.